What's up, guys? I am playing drums for the Montoya Machine April 26th, downtown Minneapolis at the Skyway Theater. Blue Felix is headlining the main stage with Casanatra headlining the second stage. We also have Deratio, Wolf Mask, Bullets and Butterflies, 32 Headshots, obviously Montoya Machine, and a band called Slag is opening the whole thing. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door. It is all ages, so bring the kiddos. 21 plus to drink. There's going to be a guitar giveaway. There's going to be other art vendors. It's called the Blue Felix Springtime Slaughter. Go to skywaytheater.com for more details. Dude, Al, we're live.
What's up?
I'm so excited to have you here, dude. I've waited I started this podcast so I could have more conversations with you. And it took 5 years of waiting for you to move back to Minnesota and have time to do it.
Yeah.
But here we are, 183 episodes later.
Took 183 episodes to get me on.
Dude, I'm so horny for this episode. I woke up this morning and I was jacked. I did push-ups. I haven't done push-ups in a month.
Should we do some right now?
I could.
Yeah.
How many can you do?
I don't know, 100?
I do 100. Do you do them in one rip? Can you actually do 100 push-ups, first of all?
Oh, for sure.
For sure?
Yes.
Okay, I love the confidence. I can also do 100 push-ups. I cannot do 100 push-ups straight.
How many pull-ups?
I don't know. Because I don't.
Do you have a bar?
I just installed one, and honestly, all I use it for is dead hangs because I got shoulder and neck problems. So I've been using it to dead hang. I'm not even trying to pull up yet. I'm just trying to sit there and stretch certain things out. But I do 4 sets of 25 push-ups. That's almost good. Every morning. I had to take a break because my neck and like I just said, my neck and my shoulder, something happened. I slept weird or something. So now when I go into that, I get this searing, pinching pain that like literally makes one of my eyes
water. In your neck
water.
Or your arm?
It's in my neck, shoulder, like neck into shoulder, like right in that spot, right in that crevice, like a karate. You want another beer? I'm already out of my first.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
How y'all doing out there?
For people that don't know you, like me, people who aren't fanboys of Al, tell people who you are and what you do.
I'm a poetry expert. I read sad stories to people at the dock.
It sounds like I'm making up your bio right now.
It's
like a foot fetish,
usually just
a drug scandal.
A bunch of fish. No.
Usually when people don't send me a proper bio, I just literally start making shit up. And I'll be
That's
like, he's
fine.
into competitive duck racing. He's been convicted of petty misdemeanors for taking pictures of women's feet on the subway. We don't even have a subway.
No, all right. I'm a drummer for the band White Crosses and Destroy the Planet, and a third relatively unknown band called Cult of the Harbingers.
You've also played for Banehinge?
Correct.
You didn't play in Buried by Hope. That's right.
I did.
You moved.
I did.
Oh, wait, for a minute.
I
Just a
was
hot minute.
I was the original drummer.
Wasn't it like a cup of coffee, though? Because
It
didn't
was,
you move like almost immediately?
We wrote a few songs. Yeah, within a couple months, I had moved to the East Coast.
Yeah, the old proverbial cup of coffee.
Then what? Rich took over.
Yep. No, there was somebody in between. I think his name was Matt.
Really?
Yeah, there was one guy in between you and Rich.
I did not know that.
I think his name was Matt. I know his face. I can see.
Well, now I feel
his
bad. I
fucking-
should know this. Sorry,
Well,
Chad.
he was also in the band for like a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Like he just it was basically Banehinge ended. You were in it for a brief moment. You moved.
Yeah. So
This guy was in it for a brief moment. I think he moved too.
It was
or got married.
Originally, it was me, Chad, Jason from Banehinge.
Yep.
Then we had Bobby on bass, and then Jeremy.
Yep.
On vocals. Or,
Well,
no.
No, because when
It
I
wasn't Jeremy
auditioned
originally.
when I
No.
auditioned, you already weren't in.
Right,
That's what
because
I'm saying.
we had the music structure down, and we were still
Yep.
trying to figure out vocals. I think Andy Oltmans was actually down for a practice or two.
Really?
Just I have a rare recording.
As a vocalist?
Yeah.
No
yeah,
shit.
Just a tiny
Knowing
blurb.
Andy, he was probably awesome too.
I have to get my timeline straight, but Andy, maybe he'll chime in on a message or something. But
But you did all kinds of cool shit, dude. And like this is why I wanted to have you on, because like the motto of the podcast when I started it, because Joe Rogan was already popular, and it was the middle of the pandemic, and so it was like you got to have a tagline, and I was like, I just want to talk to cool people who've done cool shit or are doing cool shit. And you kind of perfectly fit that model, right? And so when I wrote like my first list of like all the people I want to have, you were one of the names I threw on there. You just weren't in town, so I was like, well, that's not going to happen, you know. So then you put them on a second list, you know, if they ever make it in town, right? So,
well, your persistence has paid off.
Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment. My wife might call me pushy, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But
So
you've done a lot of cool shit, dude. So like. And we'll have to Tarantino this a little bit because I want to try to have at least somewhat of a coherent conversation. So you moved to the East Coast, and you ended up doing a bunch of cool shit out there. It was Baltimore, right?
I did. That's when I first moved out there. I lived in Fairfax, Virginia. So that's Northern Virginia, just outside of D.C.,
right?
about an hour drive to Baltimore.
Okay,
so
okay.
The first band I joined when I was out there was called Gorman Prophecy.
I remember that
Yeah,
name.
so they're out of Baltimore. When I first moved out there, I couldn't find anything I really liked. I mean, I didn't know the scene. There's a bunch of indie rockers and college this and that. And I was just like, I'm just getting bored with it. And I found these guys in Baltimore, and they were heavy, and they had a practice studio right next to Nothing Face. So I got to hang out with those guys a few times. Yep.
I think you told me
we
this
played
now
shows
that I
with
think
them. But Gorman Prophecy, it was, 60 miles, but it'd take an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we practiced 3 times a week. So it was pretty brutal driving, but I loved it so much that I would drive there all the time. And we started playing a bunch of shows, but we didn't get much outside of the Baltimore, Northern Virginia, Maryland kind of area, and started spinning my wheels, and I was getting a little frustrated. I love the guys. They're great guys. Nothing bad to say about any of them, but I don't think they had the same desire to play and tour that I did. So eventually they might say it differently, but I kind of gave them an ultimatum. I said, we kind of need to do this, or I'm out and I need to look elsewhere. So eventually I ended up leaving those guys. And then I think after that, I started a band called Shill for the Man.
I also remember I was in Dying Euphoria by this point.
Uh-huh.
And there was a bat signal that went out from some band, because we were all like, this is what I don't think a lot of people realize about the music industry, right? It's kind of like, this is a stupid analogy. I'm probably already getting a little too fucking deep, but like, you see those like photos of like freshwater and saltwater meeting.
Yep.
And it's a thin fucking membrane. 2 vastly different worlds. Thin membrane.
Yep.
I feel like as soon as you get to a certain level in the music industry, that's what it is. It's just a very thin membrane, very small world that you live in. And so everybody's kind of connected once you get to a certain level.
It's hard to get to that point once you realize that.
Right. And and then to make it is just one more step. It's not a big leap anymore. It's not this huge vast. It's like the difference between this guy and that guy who's famous and that guy who's still struggling is almost nothing. They're literally swimming in almost the exact same water. My point is that I remember some bat signal went out from some band that was bigger than we were, but we were somehow connected by a couple degrees of separation. And I remember me and like 2 or 3 other people put it out there, and like I think we tagged you on Facebook, and you picked up the gig and went on tour with them. I remember this distinctly. Do you remember what that band was? Because this was like for a lot of us very validating that one of our guys got the gig and now he's going out there to do it. And they weren't like huge, don't get me wrong, but they were doing it. They were really touring, whereas like a lot of us Minneapolis bands were still barely getting out of town.
I don't know if you're getting your wires crossed or not, but when I was in Yesterday's Saints, that's a couple bands after Shill for the Man, we toured with Battlecross. Is that what you're thinking?
Maybe. I feel like you just filled in and just jumped on a tour. Maybe you did end up joining that band and sticking with that band.
Well, there's Pentagram.
Is that who I'm thinking of?
Right, but that was a connection through Shill for the Man, and the guitarist that came in after the original guitarist was also the bass player of Pentagram, and his uncle is the guitarist, Victor. And they asked me to...
No, it wouldn't have been that.
No.
Maybe I am getting my wires crossed. It is possible. It is possible, man. You know, those dying euphoria days, I was drinking quite a bit.
Yeah.
I was drinking quite a bit, bud. It is very possible because, dude, there's clubs I don't remember playing.
Yeah.
There's bands I'm like, man, I wish we would have played together. And people are like, what are you talking about? We definitely played together. So, I mean, that's... When I remember something, it probably happened, but maybe not.
Right.
But there's a lot of shit I don't remember, and then there is the wire crossing. So you might be right, dude. But I swear, right after you got out to Baltimore or Virginia, I remember the first band, and then I swear you like hooked up with some band, went on a tour with them, and man, how bad am I tripping right now? Do you believe in the multiverse?
Garmin, we went all the way out. We played Milwaukee Metal Fest, and we came all the way, close to Minnesota.
Do you believe in the multiverse?
You know, when you're watching those shows, it's fairly plausible.
Very compelling.
But I don't know. I mean,
I feel like some days I wake up in different versions of the multiverse.
I'll leave the door open for that.
I feel like this is one of those moments.
I think it's possible.
I feel like this is one of those moments where, like, this memory is real, but it's not from this version of reality.
Right.
Like, I feel like that a lot, like the Mandela effect.
I might have forgotten too, so.
You have been in a lot of bands, Al. Do you know how many bands you have been in? Can you count them?
I'd have to think for a little bit. Do you want me to list them off?
Can you go from the very first? What was the name of the very first band you were in, and did you start it?
The first band was when I was like 16, and I was working at McDonald's. And both my managers, one was a singer, the other was a guitar player, and the guitar player had a friend who played bass, and then me on drums. I wish I could remember the name of the band. I should remember that, but I can't.
You don't remember your first band name?
No. Well, we didn't. We played some parties, but I don't. We didn't really.
Wow.
We didn't really have a name.
Wow.
I mean, we played like Running with the Devil, Look What the Cat Dragged In kind of stuff, and some Dokken. It's just like hair metal stuff. Van Halen. Yeah.
I can't believe you don't remember your first band name, though. That's like not remembering your first girlfriend.
We didn't really have a band name.
Okay.
It was just like
you just
hey,
did it. You didn't form a band.
Hey,
you just like did a thing.
Al and some of his buddies are playing here and stuff like that. And then I went off to college.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. So what was the first real band you started or joined?
Real band that I played an official show. I played at the Mirage. It's a band called Crossroads.
Okay.
The last name of the singer's name was Rhodes, and he worked at Prince's Place.
Okay.
At the, I can't think of the name
Paisley.
of it. Hey, Paisley Park, yes. He worked at Paisley Park, and it was blues rock. And the bass player was really awesome. This was so long ago. I just remember it was Greg Rhodes. He was the singer. And I don't remember who the guitar player was. I remember the bass player was pretty awesome. And we played at the Mirage. And it was just like this kind of bluesy rock kind of stuff. I was just happy to play a show. And it was, at the Mirage. We were on the main stage at the Mirage. This is my first official show. And I remember thinking we killed it. We had a halfway decent crowd. And I had my double bass kit. I always played two bass drums. And I didn't even have holes in my bass drum yet. So, and on my bass drums, my nickname for a while was Airborne.
Because of Alborn.
Yes.
Airborne.
And now there's some dude out there with Airborne. It kind of pisses me off. But anyway,
It's a good nickname.
I had Airborne on each of my bass drums. And the sound engineer talked me into cutting holes in my bass drum. So we had to like pop out some right over the letters and stuff. And I remember just having a really tough time doing that, but I did it because I wanted it to sound good. And even at that age, I understood, things sounding good. So I think my first official show, I think I was 19. And
let me fix this. Hold on. Oh, that's why.
See?
That's what's happening. This fucking piece of shit. See if that's any better. It probably won't be.
Yeah, I'll deal with it.
Oh, that's a lot better.
Yeah, so Crossroads, that was my first show, and then that band kind of train wrecked.
Do you think you can rapid fire from Crossroads to the bands you're in now, like reciting the presidents? Do you think you can rapid fire all the bands?
Oh my gosh!
Do you think you can do it? I used to know my presidents, and I can still do most of them, like shockingly far, and then I can go backwards and almost meet the list.
All right, I will give it a try. So, unknown high school band, Crossroads,
Yep.
Porcelain God, Locus, One Deaf Maneuver, Gangplow, Gangplow. That was it. Joe.
You get canceled immediately.
Gangplow.
First show canceled.
No, Gangplow.
If you did that today,
no,
canceled immediately.
It doesn't mean what you think it means.
It doesn't matter. It's perception. And today you get canceled.
No,
now.
it's a turn of the century farm implement.
It doesn't matter.
I came up with the name. I thought it was super cool.
Dude, it doesn't matter what you mean, dude.
So Gangplow is me, Joe Jackomick, Chris Vogley of Banehinge. That's how we originally met.
Oh, really?
Was played with us, and then also Rob. His brother is Revelance. Oh man, I'm gonna be shot for that, not knowing your name.
Skoquist?
No, not Skoquist.
Can't be Blake.
Blake. Yeah,
Can't
Blake.
be Jeremy Blake. Jeremy Blake has a brother named Rob.
No, Jeremy has a cousin, Rob.
Oh, cousin.
So yeah, Jeremy. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Jeremy Blake.
Jeremy Blake's cousin, Rob Blake, played in Gangplow briefly. So did Chris and Joe. So we have songs recorded and stuff. We never released them or anything.
Gangplow.
Gangplow. Yeah, it was
You
awesome.
guys should be ashamed of yourselves. All right, you're at number 6.
I missed a band. Dang it. So let me back up.
Okay.
Before Porcelain God, it was Contagion.
So we were at Unknown.
No, oh shoot, I missed a couple. I'm already screwing up here. So it was Unknown high school band.
Crossfade.
And then
Crossroads.
No.
Oh shit.
Wait a minute. So man.
This is my point. You've been in a lot of bands.
So
buddy.
no, I played in a band called it was with Scott Neverdall, who I play with now in Cult of the Harbingers. And there's another guy named Rob. It was a popular name back then. And I was I think this is my freshman year. So this would have been the second band. Okay. So I've known Scott for a long time.
So before
and it was metal and stuff. And then he ended up, starting Cromlech. But before Porcelain God, I was in a band out in Eau Claire called Contagion with Joe Jackomick. So all these people kind of intertwine. And then after that, it was Porcelain God. And then after Porcelain God...
I lost count already. What are we at, 5 already?
So then it was Locus, One Deaf Maneuver. That was when I was in England. And then moved back to here. And then it was Gangplow. then after you love that. Gangplow.
That wasn't even me laughing that time. That was him. I am not the only one who thinks that is a ridiculous band name now.
After Gangplow.
You just keep saying it.
It was a great name back then.
No, it wasn't.
Then there was Scrum.
I love you, man.
So Scrum was with Wally Borgen, Bill Palm on bass.
Wally Borgen. I'm in a fucking fantasy football league with his kid.
Yeah.
Jeff Borgen.
Yeah. And then Mike Grabo on vocals, and Wayne, what's your last name? On guitar.
Static.
And anyway, Wayne and Wally were super tight. We would practice. I mean, Wally would make one mistake in a solo and be pissed off when we do the whole song again, which was great. I mean,
That's how you get great.
I mean, when we played live, it sounded just like our demo. It sounded, I mean, everything was, I mean, it didn't matter if it was live or Memorex, so it was perfect. Then after Scrum was Ocularis.
That's a good band name.
With
that's a cool fucking band name.
Some of the guys, they were from Anoka.
Anoka, the roofie capital of the. I meant Halloween capital of the world.
And then
don't sue me.
Let's see. After Ocularis,
I don't have insurance yet.
Was Banehinge.
Banehinge, okay.
Yes.
So it's not as many bands as I think it is.
No, there's more.
Well, that's just to Banehinge. Actually, there's a lot.
That's to Banehinge, and then there's Buried by Hope.
Yep.
Briefly.
Yeah, I don't know if you can count that one though. Man.
It still counts.
It's on the list.
We played together.
It still counts.
I'm on like 3 of the first songs. Then after that, man, I haven't thought about this in a long time. So then moved to DC and Gorman Prophecy.
Yep.
Then Shill for the Man. Then Above the Altar. Then Yesterday's Saints. Lockulus.
Lockulus?
Lockulus.
So you were in a band named Oculus?
Ocularis.
Ocularis, and now you're in a band
called Lockulus, and I was in a band called
Lockulus.
Locus. They're like very similar.
Okay.
So yeah, it was Lockulus, Pentagram. So I was in Yesterday's Saints, Pentagram, and Lockulus at the same time. It was crazy
because you're a drummer.
It was crazy. And then.
And you're a good drummer, so I'm surprised you weren't in 8 bands.
The guitar player in Yesterday's Saints died from a heroin overdose, and that sucked.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's depressing.
Yeah, I can say it now. I'm not afraid to say it.
No, that's a bummer.
Because just don't do that shit. It's horrible.
That's wonderful.
So then after that, I was in Gloom, out of DC.
See, now that's a cool band name to me, and only me because of a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a video game where that's like a cool thing.
And then after Gloom, moved here, and then it was right away was Cult of the Harbingers, and still doing that. And then Destroy the Planet, Black Flood Diesel, now White Crosses.
Which Black Flood Diesel? See, I feel like you're double dipping the chip here.
Hey, it's okay.
Because Black Flood Diesel technically is White Crosses.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a different.
We've gone through a couple different guitar players.
You know what though? Here's the thing, man. What Black Flood Diesel was the first Game of Thrones book, and now White Crosses is the second.
The sequel.
Game of Thrones
so
book.
I get like
it's still part of the same franchise.
An A semicolon.
It's like it's still the same franchise. Okay, it's still the same franchise.
All
You're
right.
double dipping the chip.
All right, that was a double dip there.
No, I'm just kidding. It's 2 different bands.
I may have missed one or two there. I'm pretty sure I've missed one or two.
They're 2 different bands, dude. I'm excited to hear that White Crosses shit, dude.
There's some good stuff.
Yeah.
So we're actually.
So how'd you get mixed up with that little motley crew there?
I've known Greg and the crew. Back. For sure, Banehinge, actually a little bit sooner. When Black Flood Diesel was really starting to hit and everything, when their first iteration and everything, my wife and I moved over to England. So I missed some of that, but I remember maybe some of the initial beginnings of it and heard about them a little bit. But it really wasn't until I came back that I had met the guys. And when we were in England, what's funny though is I indirectly knew Black Flood Diesel because I knew a couple of guys in American Head Charge. And when we were in England, we'd go see them. They played some shows with Slipknot, and I remember driving up to like Northampton or something.
No shit, huh?
And hung out with
who'd you know?
All of Head Charge, and hung out on the tour bus. And well, there's Mother or Chris, the drummer. I knew I didn't know Brian too well, but I'd met him before, stuff like that. Bass player, I've met a bunch of times. Unfortunately, he's gone. They're just nice dudes. They just had a bit of a drug problem. So
Yeah. Was Dave in the band back then? Dave Rogers?
Dave, was he?
Dave Rogers went on to do LTD with Don Tinsley and Dodd. Remember Dodd?
Which one was Dave?
Dave played guitar and did backing vocals.
I don't think so.
He was on that first record.
Yeah.
He was a big part of that first record. He was part of that OG lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Chris, you're saying Chris Emery.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying you know him. Yep,
Yep.
I know Chris.
I didn't know him well, but we chatted a few times.
Yeah.
Bainhidge had played shows with Head Charge. But man, I forget some people's names sometimes.
They like 100% of my interactions with the Head Charge guys, they've been nothing but nice and gracious.
Oh yeah, I have nothing bad to say about him.
There was one time when I ran into Cameron, and he was fucking not in the same building as I was in.
Well, I mean,
like that's all I'm going to say. Like he was definitely on the same planet, but he was not in the same building as I was in, and so I'm not going to judge him for that one. Like,
yeah,
it was a weird like.
I think it was a hard lesson for all of them, and then also the Black Flood Diesel guys suffered a lot of the same struggles and stuff. You know, a couple of the guys had fed from Black Flood Diesel into American Head Charge, and there's drugs and alcohol and everything, and there's just a little too much of everything, and unfortunately a couple of them didn't survive it.
You seem like a guy who's been able to avoid pretty much all of that. Do you ever have any drug or alcohol problems whatsoever?
Not really. I mean, there's a couple times I might have a couple too many beers, but I never play drinking. I can't. So at most, if it's like a long festival show, I might have one or two, but that's spread out over several hours. But I like to play completely sober. And then afterwards, I'll treat myself to a couple beers. But a lot of times it's at the end of the night and the bar is closing, and I get one or two, and
right. That's because you were always in good bands. You played later. No, I mean, it is a joke, but it's serious.
There have been some shows, it's like, I really want a beer. Sorry, bar's closed. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. No, that's a thing. Like, it's a real thing.
But then the next day is great because I'm not hungover, and the other guys are like, oh.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, the opening bands are all shit-faced by the time you guys even go on. Trust me, I was there. I was in.
Can I help you with your drums? No.
You guys were epic.
Please don't.
You guys were epic. Oh, my God.
You're going to drop everything.
Like I said, I was that guy. I definitely did that.
No, and I guess this sounds cliche, but my dad sat me down when I was probably, I don't know, 7th or 8th grade or something like that. Maybe even a little younger, and he sat me down and suspected me of doing pot or something else.
Did he ask you if you were on the pot?
No.
How did he phrase it?
No, I mean
Are you on the dope?
It was.
Are you doing dope? Kid?
More implied.
Oh, he didn't like.
He sat me down. He's like, if I ever. I mean, that's all he needed to say, and it was just like he put the fear of God in me, and I'm like, no, Dad, I swear I haven't. And I didn't, but I had one of my best friends who did. And I, hung out with him, and I was around it, but I honestly was the you just say no poster child, and I would go, no, I don't want any. But I enjoyed hanging out with these guys, but I was like, I don't want it, and I'd always say I'm saving my lungs for drumming. I don't want to put any smoke in my body or anything like that.
You're a pretty healthy dude in general. Like, are you still doing the vegan thing? 100% vegan?
Oh, yeah.
Like true vegan?
I wore a special shirt for you.
Okay.
I'm getting naked.
Uh-oh. What did I set myself up for? What does that say? Grains. Vegan zombie.
Vegan zombie. There you go.
So 100% true vegan, no eggs, no fish. You're not a pescatarian. None of that bullshit. True.
I don't cheat.
Vegan.
There's nothing I'm not even interested in cheating or trying something else. And I've been the same weight. I've been healthy ever since I went vegan. I've had zero problems. The only time I do have problems if I have too much fried food Once in a while, we'll get the deep fryer out, and we'll make French fries and stuff, and you're fine. But then you're like, oh, I wonder if we batter up some zucchini. Oh, let's try that.
Yeah.
Or let's try some onion. You make simple stuff, and then you run out of all those veggies. You're like, we ever deep fried broccoli? Let's try that. Then you run out of broccoli, and then you're like doing carrots and all this other weird stuff, and throwing corn in there, and you're like making corn fritters, and then that's when I get a stomach ache.
Right.
So we only do that.
You're a very rare person. Most people can't stay vegan or carnivore or whatever obscure diet.
It's just a mindset. It's no different than someone offering you drugs or something and going, you know what, I just don't want it.
So how do you supplement protein? Because
that's easy. There's protein in just about everything you eat.
Yeah, but the amount you have to eat to get it into your body and sustain it.
I do eat tofu and beans and nuts and seeds, and as Chad likes to say, from Bane Hens, twigs and berries.
So you snack a lot? You snack a lot in between meals?
I probably eat a little bit more than the average guy.
As far as often.
Yeah,
that's what you mean by
I still
more.
usually eat 3 meals a day, but then I'll have a couple snacks in between or something. Sure. I can't say I'm starving or anything like that. It's not as hard as you think.
Dude, here's the thing. It's I'm 100% convinced at this point that, I don't know the timeline, 30 years from now, 100 years from now, it'll be something closer to what we saw in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
But it'll be because we've all done individual blood work, and each person will have a customized diet for exactly what they need. Because I'm telling you, I am a protein-heavy person. There's a 0 chance I'm ever going anything close to vegan. If anything, I need to go
come
the
over.
other way.
I'll make you some chimichangas and change your mind.
I doubt it, but I'd be open.
I know.
Dude,
I know you like to grill.
I will try. I will. Here's the thing. I'm open. I'll try anything. Right? If it tastes good, I'll eat it. I don't give a fuck. Right? I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's the key.
But if I ever went on a crazy diet, I would go carnivore. If I had to go crazy, one extreme or the other, I would have to go that direction because I know for a fact, it's satiating. I can last all day. I will never get sick of it. But do you do it just for health, or did it start because of an ethical thing? Because I know some guys that are vegan or vegetarian, and they're only doing it because they're this is what I can do to where I feel like I can contribute because I hated factory farming. Or was it a health thing? What started the vegan
It started as health. It started as a health.
Did you have a problem? GI shit or what?
Yeah, I used to wake up in the middle of the night with just excruciating stomach pains, and I'd be winced over and having one heck of a time trying to figure out what's going on. I'd gone to the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, try this or this," and nobody could figure it out. And I'm like, I have to figure something out. And I tried to be vegetarian for a while, and then I watched my dad's health kind of go down, and he had to have I think it was a triple bypass surgery, and they cut him wide open, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I felt as though I was going down the path that my dad was going down, and I'm like, I don't want to end up like that. My dad was miserable for a while, and I'm like, I need to change something. So I was like, my dad's always going out for prime rib, and they're doing fried chicken and fish fries and everything. And, don't get me wrong, I'd go out to eat with them sometimes, and it was delicious.
Right.
But I finally realized, I'm like, okay, let me try this. And I tried to be vegetarian a few times and failed miserably. I remember one time I was in my college house, and I was like, okay, I had been vegetarian for a couple days or maybe a week at that point. And all the other guys, there was 5 of us living in the house. They were barbecuing and having burgers and steak and stuff like that. And I was really hungry. I couldn't get full. I remember going to Subway and just getting a veggie sub, and they suck.
Right.
I'll just be honest, it sucked. But I was like, this is what I want to do. And I broke down. I went to Cub Foods, bought a pound of, maybe it was Rainbow. I think it was Rainbow at the time. Bought a pound of ground beef and some buns and everything, and I cooked a couple of half-pound burgers, and I was feeling somewhat guilty, but I'm like, I need to eat. I'm starving. And then we were planning on going out in the town or something later that night. and I ate like a burger and a half, and then all of a sudden my stomach just I mean, it started turning hard, and I suddenly started feeling like crap. I think I even got the sweats and stuff. I didn't go out that night. I was sick for the rest of the night, and I tried, and it was a lot of this in and out stuff. And then eventually
You mean in and out? You mean like
in and out
like
of being vegetarian
trying,
and
not
trying and
yeah.
not trying. So it's hard because, back then there wasn't a lot of convenience foods or anything like that. Now it's super easy.
As far as staying vegan.
But you can fall in that trap of buying all these convenience items, and those are just as unhealthy as some of the regular stuff.
You mean like Beyond Burger and that kind of shit?
Yeah, I mean, I still eat that, but try, not every day, it's like a treat.
That's why I asked you the question, is because the Beyond Burger shit, if somebody's doing it for health reasons, the Beyond Burger is dramatically worse for you than an actual burger. But if you're doing it for conscientious reasons and you don't give a fuck about health reasons, the Beyond Burger makes a ton of sense. If you're just like, I don't want to be a part of factory farming, right? And I'm not ever trying to get anybody. I don't give a fuck. Be vegan, be vegetarian. I don't care. But I'm always curious as to like how people get there.
So it started.
And I'm not trying to get you in a gotcha moment or anything.
No,
I'm not doing that at all.
You can't.
I'm not
It's
even
impossible.
trying. I'm not even trying. I'm not even trying. I'm just because I'm not really questioning you. I'm more curious than anything else.
My favorite is when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, so you're vegan? What about all the mice and everything in the fields when they sow the corn and this and that?" I'm like, "Come on."
I mean, it's if you're counting numbers of lives, it's definitely way worse. But but
so
that's still a dumb.
I don't. Mean, people do that,
but that's not why you're doing it, and
No.
that's the difference, right? You're doing it because of your own personal health and your own personal dietary, and that's something that I think everybody should respect. Period. End of story.
But it's so for me, it started out as health. And like I said, I've been the same weight, and I feel strong and healthy.
How much can you bench, bro?
I haven't benched in a long time. I could probably bench you. I don't know.
I had to. Come on, dude. You softballed that. You said I feel strong. That's a fucking softball out there for rock and jock TV baseball, dude.
No, but as you are vegan and everything, and the reason I wanted to do vegan, I'm like, I have to go all or nothing. Because if I do something else, it's too easy to cheat and fall down that path going, oh, maybe just once a week or twice a week. Well, this week I'm gone all here, so I'm going to do it all week. But then next week I'll take off, and then I know myself too well, so I need a hard cutoff. And being vegan is the closest. So I also try to avoid like artificial colors and certain preservatives, and it's beyond just vegan for me. But as you follow that path, you start understanding, like you said, factory farming and stuff like that. So for me now, it's become a little bit more 50-50.
Sure.
Because I disagree with the way a lot of animals are raised and treated and stuff like that. But I don't preach. If someone is...
Well, it gets interesting when that conversation comes up, because I think the entire idea of doing anything humane is entirely 100% human, because nature is savage as shit, right? Like there is no Bambi. No animals ever die of old age. They die of starvation, freezing to death, which is usually starvation. That's why they froze to death, because they slowed down and they froze in the middle of the cold. Or they get hunted down and eaten alive by another bigger animal. So I wrestle with this because one could argue that factory farming is the most humane way to kill an animal, because we shock them and a bolt to their head. It's as fast as that animal could possibly die.
Right.
Like, and people that do that shit for a long time have a hard time doing it. But if you're a hunter, it's kind of the same philosophy. You want to kill that. If you're a hunter, bow hunter, rifle hunter, any type of hunter, where I grew up, I'm not saying this is everybody out there, but ethics and like morals are a huge part of it. And I mean huge part of it, meaning like you do not take a bad shot. If you're not 100% certain that it's a one-shot kill, you do not fire on that animal, because we're not here to make animals suffer. We're here to harvest bounty, basically. Like it's a very
Right,
serious,
but then you have guys
serious responsibility
that do trophy hunts.
Well, there's some ironic ethics to that too, which is the money that they do donate to do those things actually goes to preserves to keep that species alive, which is a hard irony to wrap your head around until you actually
a weird,
deep dive.
Weird irony, though. I don't know that one.
But it's real.
That one's weird for me.
Yeah, it is. It's weird for me too. Because
Yeah.
I've never gone trophy hunting, but when you look into it, like, yeah, those fucking rich people pay a lot of money, and every lion that they kill or whatever the fuck they do, and they're only allowed to hunt in certain areas and certain lions. Like, they have a guy that's like, you can kill that one.
Yeah,
They don't just get to go out there and kill anyone. Because here's the thing, that's the old one. He's about to die anyways. And again, you can kill him and look like it's a trophy, or we just let him die when that young one goes over there and rips his fucking head off because he's taken over. Or you can shoot him and that one's going to take over anyways. And this is going to happen like within the next 2-3 weeks. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but what I'm saying is the $50,000 that guy does pay for that trophy not only saved that pack, but it also helped build the preserve and expand the fence and hire 3 more people to help fight poachers, to help keep not only the lions alive.
Yeah,
but
no, I get that, but
super complex thing. I'm not going to try to convince anybody on any side of that fence, but it is not nearly as simple as anybody tries to make that shit out to be. Like,
Yeah.
and that whole little 30-second rant I just went on is like, no bullshit, 2.5 years of research of like looking into this, of like, because remember Cecil the lion, and that's where it started. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
That took a long time to figure out.
There's got to be a better way than just these guys going out, and I just don't like the pomp and circumstance of it. I think I agree with you that, yeah, these animals are going to die and stuff like that, but why make a spectacle of it?
I do, and that's the thing is like, so the guys that I fuck with, there is no trophy hunting. They might hang the head on their wall, but again, they harvested that entire deer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the only reason you would hang that head of that deer or that elk is because it's old. Right? Like, it's spectacular looking. And there's this thing that happens in nature, in like good ethical nature hunting, where you pass on the young deer. Like, everybody knows to preserve the species. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely every asshole I know, but like, or every asshole we all know of. That's what I was trying to say. There's the assholes we all know of, but like, I don't know any of those people in real life. Every person I know that hunts is like the most ethical, responsible. They're picking up little tiny pieces of trash. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like they're very, in some respects, very hippie-ish. You know, they're very one with the land.
I mean, if I had to talk about it, if anything, I respect someone who knows where their food is coming from.
Right.
So in that part, I can respect some people who hunt. I'm just not into it. And I think a lot of the factory farming is just creating a lot of side effects and stuff that could be improved upon.
For sure.
But I do what I like to do, and I don't like to preach, about my eating habits or being vegan. I like to lead by example, and I have some friends and family that have decided to go vegan because they realize that maybe that's the better choice to make for them.
Yeah.
And
that's what my whole point has been on this podcast. And Jason can back me up because he's been watching old episodes, catching up on clips. I've said this from day one. I'm convinced about the future of the blood work thing. And if veganism works for you, cool. But I'm also convinced you're a very small percentage of the population. Just like people that can actually survive on a carnivore diet, very small percentage.
But then
I'm pretty sure it has to do with like where your ancestry was raised, because like certain people don't do well with huge amounts of fucking wheat and different types of carb. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure.
But then there's the whole other argument of the resources that growing meat takes. This is where we get into a whole nother.
I don't buy
thing.
any of.
I don't know if we want to go down that.
We
path,
can.
but
We can. I don't buy it.
I mean, it takes a lot of resources to grow an animal.
It does, but it's a circle of life thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, again, factory farming in its worst form, 100%. You guys are right. You slam dunk, grand slam every time you guys win that argument.
Well,
but
I think Americans just eat too much meat to begin with. Even if I'm okay,
I don't think we eat enough
even
meat.
if I'm okay with people eating meat, I mean,
I think we eat too
depends
many
on how
carbs.
far you want to go back. I mean, long time ago we were hunter gatherers, so we ate meat when it was available. But then for a long period, it'd just be twigs and berries. And then you'd eat some meat, and then it'd be twigs and berries, or you might catch some fish or something like that. But that wasn't the center all the time. Now,
Right.
maybe if you go far north with Eskimos, that's all they could eat.
Right?
But
Yeah, and I'm curious about that. I think about this shit a lot
I mean,
because
this could be a whole podcast right here.
that's what I'm saying. Because I think ultimately what it comes down to is your gene expression based on the genetic lottery that you got from the regions of your ancestor
Well, I mean,
upbringing. So I'm very
if
Native
you were
American.
if you're Eskimo and that's how you grew up and for 10,000 years, sure, the Eskimos that die early are going to be the ones that couldn't survive on blubber and polar bear meat.
Right.
That's
kind of exactly what I'm saying. So
I see your point on that.
Hypothetically, like I'm very Native American in my gene expression.
You go
right?
further south where it's nice all the time.
Right.
Maybe it was,
Fish. If you're coastal.
or
it's fish.
or it could have been fruits and berries and nuts and grain and stuff like that. So
It seems like there wasn't a lot of inland civilizations, though, that actually did that for a long period of
not
time.
until
Like,
there was kind of the agricultural
right,
revolution
very-
in
which
each
is
of the
technically
cultures.
very recent, right?
Yeah.
Like it seems like we basically live still to this day almost
But
exclusively live on the coast.
Here's a deeper market. Here's a deeper argument, though. So, did we get smarter when we were able to do more agriculture and grow more crops?
I don't know.
Because civilization started to advance, whereas before it would just be dudes spearing fish or, spearing, bison and stuff like that. So as civilization got smarter and started doing more agriculture and having more food for all the people, which was lots of corn, lots of wheat, depending on which part of the rice, depending on where you're at,
Right.
you could sustain everybody and have a larger society, more brains, more power
Right.
to bring society to a smart, organized civilization.
Well, here's what I think.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
Here's what I really think it is. And we can go as deep as you want, but here's what I actually think it is. I think it's because I think we humans love to like romanticize all our whimsical like loyalties to our ideas, right? So if I was a carnivore guy, like I would be like, no, the reason we got smarter is because we started doubling our protein, and protein made our brains bigger. Whereas like maybe, but what it probably is, if I'm just being unemotional about this, what it probably is a combination of everything, right? So we started actually doing some agriculture, which allowed us to start herding cattle and feeding mass amounts of cattle, right? Which allowed us to like live and survive through inclement weather longer, which allowed us to hang out and have conversations and elaborate our language, which allowed us to exchange ideas on a way more philosophical and intellectual level versus just go here, do this, kill her, do that, right? Like all of a sudden it was like, hey man, why'd you do that? Instead of, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I think happened is it was just a concentration of population through being able to sustain us through both agriculture and protein.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately what I really believe is like a balanced diet is best. I think we're omnivores, and then tailor that because some guys shouldn't eat dairy.
I don't disagree
Right?
with
If
the
you have
omnivore.
psoriasis, dairy might make your psoriasis way worse. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there's shit like that. But then I think down the road, we'll tailor that shit specifically for you. And I just don't like the idea of anybody, and it's usually some fitness guru or some podcaster broadcasting keto is life. Like I sarcastically
I
say
can't
shit like
stand
that
all that.
the time,
It all gets pushed like a fad. No, you got to do what's right for you.
It's exactly what it is. it's a fad or a religion. It turns into a cult, like politics, like anything else. Like, I may be on one side or the other right now, but I'm not really loyal to any of these ideas. Here's what my principles here. Here's what my principles are. Right? Here's how I do my math, and here's how I came to this position.
Yep.
If I'm presented new information, I redo my calculation based on my principles. I call it my moral math. And then sometimes I change my position. Sometimes I reaffirm my original position. That's just how I think adults are supposed to behave. But I don't think we do that on anything. I think we get attached emotionally to these ideas, whether they're our own or we're pushed into a box.
The Facebook
and I think
box.
we throw down. Yeah, man. I get accused of being in an echo chamber, and those people have no idea what they're talking about because I've changed my mind like 7 times on most issues.
Now, Facebook has become a place where a lot of people feel more empowered to say something they probably wouldn't say to someone's face.
Never.
So
I'll say that shit to somebody's face. So if I tell you that's a dumbass idea and you're being retarded, I'll absolutely fucking say that shit to your face.
It's good to know.
You know what I mean? Like, my point is I'm also not saying it the way most people read it, which is like, that's stupid and you're fucking retarded. I'm going like this. That's stupid and that's fucking retarded. Like, calm down. You know what I mean? Like, but that negative shit, the way we read that, that's also that's a mirror. Like,
see the next iteration of Facebook needs to be you can actually speak, and then they can hear your tone of the way you're typing it, or you could use AI that would
is going to be what
generate your voice on the way. What mood would you like this said as? Are you saying it sarcastically, or are you saying it seriously, or are you just being an ass?
No, that's exactly what it'll be. The first step, I think the first practical step will be the first idea you had, which is you'll just talk into it. It'll perfectly transcribe it, and then if somebody thinks you said it shittily, they
have
can
the
always
option.
hit play and then hear your tone, and then they're like, "Oh, he's being hilarious right now," and then it saves the conversation.
Or even a video of you doing it.
Oh,
a video that could get scary.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You guys are video arguing between each other, and then everyone can see it. The
wrong guy's got his shirt off, and suddenly it's a problem.
That
you got your shirt off, bro.
That'd be entertaining.
Suddenly it turns into wrestling promos. Listen here, brother. I'm gonna fucking.
then you're gonna have a couple drunk dudes who take it too far, and then
suddenly guys are wearing belts they bought on Amazon. I'm telling you, I'm a two-time.
You saying that like Mr. T? Or
Dude,
I pity the fool.
I'm pretty sure Jason Reed and some local guys made some wrestling promo videos in the last 10 years, just talking shit to each other for absolutely no reason, and nothing came of it, but they just made a bunch of... I'm pretty sure... Who was that? Anybody in chat, if you guys remember that, let me know. I'm pretty sure
we need to find this
happened.
transcript and we can reenact it.
Oh my God. And then I think some comedians also did the same thing recently.
That might be kind of fun. We could go to Facebook and find a random chat, and you'll be one person and I'll be the other, and we assume the identity of that person on how we think they're saying it.
You know what? It's so funny how our brains work so differently, Al. Because you know what I thought of?
You weren't thinking of that at all,
You know what
were
I
you?
thought of? That would be a really interesting way to do some promo for some shows. Shoot it like a wrestling promo. Like, get one of your band members to like stand with a fake belt and some spandex and some fucking neon goggles.
Right.
And listen, brother, and just yell at the microphone like it's a WCW promo. Get that 80s fucking VHS ripple on. Yeah, I went full promo.
You got any
I'm in business mode right now.
You got any
dude.
reverb back there?
Oh, we got no.
Hello.
Not
In
yet.
the left ring.
Dude, that shit would be dope though. Do you guys do any crazy weird promos when you guys do the white crosses or the
destroy the planet?
Shit?
We usually do kind of a zany little promo. We're like, hey, metalheads, what are you doing this Friday night? We have a show. Actually, coming up March 29th, we've got a show. Oh, I got to do it right. Hey, all you crazy metalheads, coming up
On Saturday, March 29th, we'll be at Gribben, Minnesota at the White Wart Brewing Company. It's a place called the Bank. Whitwart, not White Wart. Whitwart Brewing Company in Gibbon, Minnesota. Destroy the Planet. We're playing 2 sets. So
You're playing 2 sets?
Yeah, the place
like
is
2 different sets, or you're just playing twice in the night?
No, 2 different sets.
No shit.
Yeah, we're doing a couple Misfits tunes.
So Destroy the Planet, you guys are mostly
original, but when we do, like, especially when we play out in Gibbon, we do a few extra covers. So we're doing like Antisocial by Anthrax. We're doing Dig Up Her Bones by Misfits. We're doing also, we do a cover of I Think We're Alone Now. I think we're alone now.
Tiffany?
Yeah.
Tiffany, right?
Yeah, but we metal it out. We also do 99 Red Balloons.
I'm pretty sure that was my
And
wife's
was
first
it,
concert was Tiffany.
Was 99, wasn't Filter. It was, was it
what?
Filter who did a cover of that? We do it kind of in the vein, the way they do it. So we metal it out. And
And Trent Dutcher's in that band?
yeah. And dude can sing. So, and then we've got Mike Fiato on bass, and he does harmonies, and I'm actually doing a little bit of singing.
No shit.
Yeah, so I've got a mic behind me. It's mostly background stuff.
What possessed you to decide you want to sing?
Well, there's only 3 of us, so we needed another voice, and I'm like, all right.
All right. I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I have zero desire as a drummer I'll yell. If you give me a microphone, it's for me to talk in between songs, like talk shit.
I mean, there's like,
but I'm not singing.
I mean, I'm, but I'm doing stuff like that, and
sure. You're not trying to hold a note.
Oh, and then we do a spoof on a Stonehenge. We actually play Stonehenge from Spinal Tap.
Wait, what? You
Yeah.
do the Stonehenge bit?
Stonehenge. Yes, we play it, and I do the oohs and ahs that Nigel would normally do. Ooh, ah. Yeah.
There's another band that does.
I can sing like a bird when I need to.
Who was it? I have them on. I can see them in my head. There's another band that did. They did Big Bottoms by Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah.
God, I can see him in my head. Oh, Dennis Asher is the singer. Lance Reed drums. I can't remember, but it's like a tribute band. They were doing like Black Sabbath and AC/DC or something like that, or Black Sabbath and Soundgarden or something like that.
Okay.
Cover tribute band.
Interesting combo.
Yeah, it was, but it worked. It fucking
Black
worked,
Sabbath
dude.
and Soundgarden.
Dude, it fucking worked, dude.
So you
They were awesome.
want to know my favorite cover band ever, hands down,
Yeah.
and it's only because of the name.
Yeah.
So when we were living in London, there's just all this stir and commotion about this band that was going to play, and me and Brenda got all excited about it. We're like, man, this is going to be an amazing show. I mean, the band members and stuff. There's this place called the Peel in Kingston. It's just outside. It's a suburb of London, and we had gotten to know a bunch of the musicians in the community, and they're like, oh, you got to see this show. This is going to be amazing. And so we're like, we're there. And so we show up. It's packed. This place is packed. It's their first show. So what do you think the name of the band is? It's two of the most iconic metal bands ever, and the names are merged.
Metallica. No, that's a comedian.
Nope.
Oh, I don't.
The name is brilliant.
Okay, hit me.
Pantalica.
Pantalica. Ah. That's a great one.
It was awesome.
That's a great one.
I was like, man, if you guys ever break up, I want to steal that name, Pantalica.
That's a great one.
So we're there, and we start watching, and all hopes were quickly deflated.
Oh, it's not good?
Oh no, it was horrible.
Oh, that's horrible.
Hopefully none of them are watching, but it wasn't as
well. It might be something they need to hear.
The guys were super nice and everything, but it just.
How do you, let me ask you this? Let's not.
Oh, okay.
Let's not pile on it.
Okay. I'll give it. I'll give. It was a C. I was expecting an A.
Let's
A+.
turn this extremely constructive real fast. How do you tell a band they suck?
Good luck.
No, for real though. Let's say it's a band you care about. So maybe it's a nephew, right? Like they're fucking terrible, but they could be good. But right now they're fucking horrible. How do you, Al, do it? Not the proverbial you, not everybody else. Not how would you actually say that? Because you have kids.
Well, so usually in that case, you pick out what was good. I mean, usually even a crappy show, you can figure out something that was good, and like, hey, that one song where you did that part, that was great, and you guys tried to harmonize.
Do more of that.
When you guys tried to harmonize there, you were close, but man, once you hit that, it's going to sound amazing. Hey, I know this guy over here, you should work with him and he can help you sort that out. Oh, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So if you're just like super negative to someone, it doesn't work.
Right.
If you just go,
that's what I'm getting.
Jared,
right?
it sucked, man. I'm never coming to see you again. Whereas I'm
Right.
like, man, that drumming on that one song was super cool. I didn't care for the bass too much, but or the vocals,
And
but
that's why
you know what I mean?
That's
or
exactly what
you try to find some shining moments, and then you can pick it apart a little bit and go, hey, I wasn't totally into it, but I like this. I think if you change this now, some people are going to go, no, this is my art. This is how I'm going to do it.
Right.
And maybe you're just not a fan and someone else will like it. I mean, there's some songs out there that I hate, and I'm like, how the heck did this get on the radio? This is awful. But other people are like, yeah, man, it's great. I'm like, I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, then there's always that thing is like, does it translate on record? Right? Because like you might see a band live and you're like, these guys are fucking awesome. But then somebody else hears them on the radio and they're like, yeah, they're super like basic.
Oh, I've heard
vanilla.
that where you see them live and they're killing it, and then you check out their CD and you're like, why doesn't this sound like they do live? Or the opposite's true. You hear this over polished album that everything's absolutely perfect, and then you go see him, you're like, dude missed half his kicks. He's not blasting. He's, it's like, I don't know who drummed on the album, but you're not it.
Right. Usually it ends up being programmed. You're like,
right.
You fake that.
Yeah.
No, what I think is the most interesting version of that is like, I checked this band out live, right? So now I like their records. And my buddy who agrees with me on everything, he listened to their records because I was like, dude, check this band out. I saw them live. They're awesome. And he listened to the records and he's like, they're meh. But it's like because I got introduced to him live, I'm down with the records.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Because you felt the energy.
Yeah, right. Yep. So I like bought in, and that's how
I think there's probably a couple
I think
bands.
that's how a lot of old bands made most fans. Like Metallica, like Motley Crue.
I think there's a lot of
truth
to that. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I know there's some bands I've seen live, and I listened to the album. I'm like, no, man, the experience was amazing, and I just loved how it felt, and
yeah, and then same thing. There's bands that like, well, I fell in love with them on record, so even though they're not as good live, I'm okay with that. But everybody who discovers them live, they're like, they suck, and it's like, well, yeah, they're not the greatest live band, but like, once you're a fan, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So like, once you're a fan, I think you like compensate or forgive. You're a lot more forgiving once you're a real fan of something or someone. Like you forgive all the flaws and the rough
right because you're already into them, and
it's interesting what avenue you discover them, how you become that fan.
Well, and then there's other avenues. So like I've had friends who aren't into metal, just not into metal, not even hard rock, and they're just like bubblegum and top 40 and NSYNC and stuff like that. And I invite them out to a show, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, just come out. And I've got some friends that still aren't metal fans, but they love coming out to the shows because they're like, I don't know what it is, but every time I hang out with you guys, I have so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm still not into the music, but I actually enjoy the music when I'm there.
Yeah.
Because I know what's going to happen. I know we're going to have a good time.
Yep.
So that is some of the best compliments, because they're, well, I guess you take it either way. They're there because you're good people and they like what you're doing and they respect the community of metalheads and stuff.
Well, it's either way, it's a positive, because if they're going to come and have a good time, there's a very high probability they're going to bring somebody who's also going to have a good time.
Yep.
And most people are smart, right? At least when they're by themselves. Most people are fairly smart. When they get in huge groups, they get fucking stupid real quick. But they'll most likely be like, hey, I'm going to, you like death metal, right, Craig? Hey, you want to, my buddy's in a death metal band. I don't even like the music that much, but like, bro,
let's
I have
hang
a great
out.
time.
I just want to be there.
Like, dude, you should come. You might actually like these guys. And then boom, they bring you a fan.
And that's what creates, that's what creates a good scene.
Right. I mean, that's what I was getting at. Those are the best fans, are the ones who like, whether they love the music or not, they love the band, the scene, all of that. Those are the most valuable people, because those are the magnets that bring other people. Those are the ones that'll go, hey, I think you will like this band. Come with me tonight.
The organizer fans.
Yes.
I mean, you can always get
there's a value in
a friend or family member
friend
to come out once or twice, every so often. But if you make every show is special for them, and you make whoever's there feel like they're part of it, they're going to come out even if they don't like you, but then eventually they start liking it because they associate that music with good times. I mean, we all have songs that we really don't like, but when we hear that song, it reminds us of a good time, because that's what was always playing when you were in that part of your life or something like that, you know. I mean, there's a lot of songs I hate that song, but yeah, I remember that day we went and we were listening to this song that sucked. You know.
Yeah. I became a fan of the song "Ain't It Fun" by Paramore, just simply because it was playing over a summer when I was doing a bunch of cool shit. So it was always in the background. So then all of a sudden, like a couple of years later, the song comes on, and I'm like. The song would come on and it would like remind me of this event or that event or this fucking fair or whatever, and I was like, I fucking love this song, and because it was just pure nostalgia. It had nothing to do with the song. It had to do with the memories.
Like every time I hear "Don't Fear the Reaper," I think of
Will Ferrell?
Midway and Carnival, because
I think of Will Ferrell.
No, I don't know. More cowbell, right? No, but honestly, for the longest time,
that's my core memory of that song.
I don't know why I picked that song, but that is a song that I hear. Okay, I think of that, but because like all the Carnival dudes that are, you know, strung out and they've done it way too long, the speakers are half blown, and there's the tilt-a-whirl going. Every other time I walk by something like that, I swear I hear "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Right.
Even if it's not playing, I hear that song. Yeah. You know, it's like Blue Oyster Cult. You know, some dude that's what, you know. He's like, if every carnival needs to play Blue Oyster Cult.
My favorite thing is that I knew that song because Metallica always referenced Blue Oyster Cult as bands that they were into, right? So like I was like, I'm gonna listen to Blue Oyster Cult, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this doesn't make sense that this is Metallica's like maybe their favorite band. But I had heard that song, and my dad listened to classic rock and shit, blah blah blah. My stepdad, whatever. And then that Will Ferrell skit came on. So I knew this song.
There's a reference to Bruce Dickinson in there too, isn't it?
Is there? I don't remember.
Did someone say Bruce?
I don't remember.
Like, we got to watch it again. But
pull it up, Jason. We're gonna get flagged for it, but fuck it, let's do it. Pull it up.
Working on it.
Pull up the Will Ferrell bit.
Need more cowbell,
dude.
I'm playing as hard as I can.
I almost got kicked out of a band I started because I was playing drums.
How do you get kicked out of your own band?
Well, it didn't happen. It almost happened. But so I'm playing drums in the Tyrants, and that fucking clip had gone viral again, right? It made the rounds again. So I'm working at Guitar Center playing drums in the Tyrants, so I bought a cowbell.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I'm counting in songs with this now, boys. And literally, Kevin and John.
So you're saying you might have been a little annoying?
Kevin and John were like, we will both quit the band like tonight. And I was like, nah. And they were like, we're not starting the song. Like, we're not. And I was like, yes, you are. Like, we have a job to do.
Oh, my God.
And they were like, listen to me, dude. We're not doing this. And so then I like lulled them, right? I played the song, and then I would just throw it in a chorus.
Oh, my God.
And then eventually
did you mount it?
Yeah.
You mounted and
Yeah,
everything?
Yeah, and then eventually one day I came to rehearsal and it just wasn't there. And then I bought another one and it disappeared.
Oh,
and I
they just-
probably spent
just-
$180
Oh my
on
God.
cowbells, dude. $20 a pop. Just fucking.
And now someone has a nice,
fast as I
nice
could get
collection
them
of
on there, they were
cowbells.
gone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in a dumpster. And I got the big one from Guitar Center. You know which one I'm talking about.
The Black Beauty,
yeah.
the LP one. Oh.
Yeah, people hate them. I think they're very funny. Did you find it, Jason?
You ready?
Yeah, play the clip.
Are we able to see it here?
Yeah, he's going to bring it over.
Yeah.
here. Someday.
Give me a second.
Someday.
Do the fans get to see
Yep.
it?
Yeah, they'll be able to see it. Eventually.
Sunshine Studios.
Anyways, but that's worth it, dude. That's worth it. That's the best 2 minutes we've spent on this podcast
Explore
in a
the
long
pain.
time.
Explore the space. I forgot about that. Explore the. I was
Eventually, he sticks that cowbell right next to
Yeah,
his
just in
actual
his
ear.
ear.
I
I'm
hope
like,
he had earplugs
oh
in,
my
dude.
gosh.
But my favorite part about that skit, especially if you're not a musician, you don't know. There's no hyperbole in that skit. It doesn't matter where the fucking cowbell goes. It stays that volume, and
Nothing changes in it.
dude. That's why we use it as the click track.
Yeah.
Because it cuts through the mix, even at a low volume. I can hear.
I don't
that
like
fucking
using
cowbell.
I don't
What
use
do
a
you
cowbell.
What do you use? It's the only thing I'll use.
I use like a clave. Tick tock 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 tick.
the clave.
Yeah, it's like a high.
It's much higher.
It's a
pitched.
wood block.
It's much
It's
higher
a wood
pitched, yeah.
block.
It's more of a
Yeah, it's like.
yeah. Yeah.
The beeps are weird.
Yeah, that was
like,
very accurate, dude. Yeah,
That's kind of what it sounds like. That works best for me. Cowbell's like, I don't know, it makes me jerk a little bit when I play it. I don't know.
Well, the cowbell for me, but then I got to pitch it.
And then the Pro Tools
can't
beep.
just
I
take
never
a-
like the beep, boop, boop.
I hate it.
Oh,
hate it, dude.
I feel like it's
Hate
not
it.
as accurate. Like it's going on for like, I don't know, 10, 20 milliseconds and beep.
The
boop,
attack
like,
and decay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
just
Thank you.
I guess only a drummer can explain that, but having that wood block seems a lot more tight and accurate to the
Yeah.
sound. I feel
Yeah,
like
the attack is
I feel like
sharper,
I
right?
can track it better. But I mean, I've tracked to the beep before.
The Pro Tools click is the worst click of all time.
It's annoying. I mean, I guess it cuts through, but I just don't
yeah,
like
but
it.
it doesn't sound right, and it's hard to listen to. It doesn't cut through the mix, because that's all I care about.
Yeah.
All I care about is while I'm playing the song, this click track cuts through the mix so I can listen to it as effortlessly as possible.
Well, the last couple
all I
times we
care about.
recorded, I brought my click sound.
And then do you
So-
track it?
Well, usually we'll have scratch tracks and then I'll have a click track and then we reference the same time and stuff, and I'll just bounce it. And then we make sure it lines up, for it's a Pro Tool session, we make sure it lines up. Or, it's too complicated. I mean, some engineers can do it. I can give them the MIDI, or not the MIDI, but the wave sample of the click and everything. But it's usually too much pain in the butt. So we just import the bounced file of the click, and it works great.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to do that. And through now spending a large amount of time in Logic and enough time in Pro
You just got to be
Tools.
careful if you shift the song around and there's time changes, you can mess things up. So that's where you'd have to import the wave file and
like
sync
the
it up
stem.
with their.
You're talking about like the stem and like individually place them.
Well, no, you can, depending on the software, you can have it reference just a short clip for your metronome.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you could, like, if you're using, you just bring up a sampler, like it's got the 16 pad sampler, and then you program a MIDI. So you have to have a MIDI trigger, and then you'll import that wave file to one of those pads in your, like you've got the 16 pad, MPC or something like that. So there's software that represents that. And then you bring in, like on pad 1 would be high click, pad 2 would be low click. And then you have a MIDI trigger, like, number 60 and number 61 or whatever MIDI note will trigger 1 and then trigger 2. And then it's doable. It's easier if you just import the file, but if you're doing
Right, I see what you're saying.
lots of editing and time changes, and you're like, oh, I want to add another bar 3/4, I want to do another bar of this, then it's easier to have the sampler up, and then you just program the MIDI to change with changes in your song structure. So I'm getting kind of
Man, I'm
getting a little nerdy on it with you.
That is super nerdy, dude.
So it's possible.
But that's cool. You can do that in almost real time, though.
It is. I mean, it triggers it in real time.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. So I mean, you could have whatever sounds you want. You could create your own click sound. You could go out in nature and have an owl wooing, or and woo,
No, but
woo.
the fact that you can like add, you can just, and you can be like, all right, we're gonna just do it this way now. I'm like, okay, hit
Yeah, well,
record.
you
hit
would-
record.
you
I'm
would-
gonna go 3/4.
you
Hit
would-
record. I'm gonna
Well,
go
yeah.
4/4.
Well, you would insert a measure of 3/4, insert 2 measures of 3/4. So you just do a command and it widens it out, and then you can fly in some files if you're just demoing it, or then you track that little extra part.
That MIDI shit confuses me. dude.
Software is crazy now.
The MIDI shit, especially when you guys start doing the MIDI shit, it's just like I check out.
MIDI is just it's machine language.
Dude, just let me play guitar. Just let me hit drums. As soon as we go MIDI, I check out. I'm like, you guys are on your own. I'm no longer. Honestly, man. I just lose interest.
So all MIDI is let's say you've got a keyboard. It's dumb. It doesn't have. I'm gonna explain it to you quick.
I know.
It's dumb.
Please do explain it.
So MIDI is just transferring what key did you hit and how hard you hit it in a timeline.
I know.
That's it.
I know. It's
And then
great.
that
I
note
know.
is assigned a value, a MIDI note value. Like let's say it's C1.
It's so funny
So
because
I
I
hit
sound
this.
like the old man.
It
You're
says-
older than me, but
it
I sound
says
like the grumpy old man.
C1. So on let's say
know,
on
I know.
that 16 grit, you have C1
I
is
know,
a
I know.
bass drum sound.
Right. I know. Right.
Let me do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
But then you hit C2 over here, the next octave.
My favorite is when you have the open hi-hat and the closed hi-hat, and then on the MPC 2000 when you really like got wizardry, and you would trigger the closed hi-hat to shut off the open hi-hat, so
Uh-huh.
you could actually go tss, tss,
Oh yeah.
tss, tss. It was cool. Man, that was fun. But programming drum machines are one thing. Like that was
I'd rather
was a
just, I'd
vibe.
rather just play it.
That was the vibe. But it was fun though, dude. Because like you couldn't always, there, like especially the way I grew up. Like
No, it wasn't possible.
yeah, like whether it was space, volume, or money, but there was every once in a while
Well,
there was this
like-
drum machine.
Like Prince, in the 80s, they used these. What were they called?
808, I think.
Well, there's 808, but no, there's this other one that was really popular in pop music and stuff.
Jason, look it up.
Oh, what's it called? But it was a drum machine, and it's like I think it's broken
Prince famous drum machine.
broken into like 16 sections. So it's and you just choose what you want to trigger, and they'll just keep
I know
looping.
what you're
and
talking about.
yeah.
I can't think of the name of it.
Was it the Lynn drum machine or something like that?
We should be able to pull this
Yeah.
up. Oh, my
Yeah.
shoulders.
I don't know if he used it all the time, but he used it on some of his really popular stuff. And then he also had Michael Bland
Oh,
on
yeah.
drums. Big dude. I used to see him all the time at Bunkers.
He used to
Uptown,
hang
he
out
used
at Edina Guitar Center a lot. Back when I worked there, he
Lynn,
judged
I was right. Yep, the LM1 drum machine.
the
Yep.
LM1.
Yep, that's what he used.
Didn't he write like some of the biggest songs he wrote on that?
Oh yeah.
Like as far as like the drum beats or the
Mhm.
loops or
Yep.
at least pulled the sounds from or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and even those things weren't perfect, so they'd pull some trickery on them and
Sure.
stuff like that to get the exact sound they want.
Yeah, but he could never recreate it or get it anywhere else. So he like had
Right,
those
and kept
on
it
deck.
alive for as
Yeah.
long as he could.
Yeah, he had multiple of those. I've heard that story. I could never
Yeah.
remember the name of it because it's the LM1. Like
That's like
you just showed it to me, and I
it's like
already
you
forgot
find
who made
you
it.
find a piece of gear you like and it's discontinued
Who
and
makes it? You just showed it to me, and I already forgot who. made it.
LINN.
Who
The
the
LM1.
fuck is that? Who is Lynn?
some dude or chick named Lynn.
No. Like who made this? Like, did some company buy them out? Like,
I don't know.
Like, what is the origin story of the company Lynn? Are they still around? Like, what is going on with this
Let
company?
me find out.
Yeah, figure that out and get back to me, because I'm super curious. Because it's just like, I've heard about this machine my whole life.
Everyone's heard of like the 808 and the 909 and stuff, but the Lynn was pretty popular back in the,
that's
the
Roland,
early
right?
80s. Huh?
808, that's Roland, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Roland 808.
Which on just about every piece of gear they make, there's some kind of 808 sound on their drum sets, on their keyboards.
Right,
and
that bass drop, that original bass drop.
Well, they're actually kind of cheesy sounding drums, but hip hop made it popuur.
Right, especially when you pitch down.
Yeah, like the hi hat that sounds nothing like a hi hat. Bang.
Yeah.
I can't emulate that sound.
Roger Lynn released.
Oh, Roger Lynn, yeah, that's it.
So did somebody buy that company? What happened to it?
Priced at $5,500
Back then?
Back in '80. Oh my gosh, that was
Dude,
that's like buying a small house back then. Only 500 units made.
what is $5,500 in 1980?
Let me find out.
Or what is $5,500 in 1980? What is that today?
It has to be at least 20-30 grand.
I feel like it's. I
Or
feel like
more.
it feels like that, but I feel like
You think it's even higher?
no. I think it's way less. Like, I feel like our perception of inflation is worse than it is because of the cost of like housing.
Well,
and
how
certain
much? How
things.
much was gas in 1980?
That's what I'm saying. But that's what
Like
I'm saying.
70
dude.
cents a gallon,
I
or-
don't think everything is like perfectly equitable in its inflation.
Let's see.
15. Yeah.
Look, I was right.
15 to 20.
Is worth about $21,203.
So 20. Yeah. 21. Yep.
So about 4 times as
Yeah.
much.
So we're not as quite as high as 30.
So could you imagine going to
I would have
Guitar
actually
Center?
I would have actually guessed if I would have had more time. I would have guessed 15. So I would have been wrong, but
So
I would have guessed
even
15.
the most expensive like Roland drum set, like you get
So that's
the nicest
times
one
4.
is around 10 grand.
You're gonna go
today.
to Guitar Center today and go spend 20 grand on a fucking drum machine.
So 20
Just a drum
No,
machine.
but I mean 20 grand. I mean that's twice as much as the most expensive Roland. You can get a nice analog synthesizer for about 5 grand. This thing was 4 times as much as that. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane.
I mean, there's
That's
no,
hard for me to like wrap my head
No,
around because again, in today's world, think about doing 20 grand just a drum machine though.
yeah. I mean, 20 grand today
Like
can
you're not
still
tracking
still
into
buy
it.
you
It's not a pedal board.
a nice amount of studio equipment today. But 20 grand back
grand.
then is insane.
We'll build a whole studio for 20 grand.
Yeah.
We'll buy one of the nicest Mac computers out there, right?
I mean, how much was
Like,
how
one of
much
the
was a
nicest
car?
interfaces
How much was
out
the
there.
average car in 1980?
I bet you it's my guess would be if the price is right,
Oh
Bob,
no. So
$12,900.
well, no. So a car like a,
$95.
I mean,
13 grand.
If we're
I bet you-
extrapolating, cars were probably $5,000 to $8,000.
I bet you
right?
I bet you they're 13 grand. The average car in
Back then?
1980.
No.
The average car 13 grand. 7,500.
7,500.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So almost buying a new car.
Holy shit. Now the median income back then was 21 grand. Is that what it said,
Yeah.
Jason? Bring that back up.
So that's the average
median,
person's
the median, not
full-
the average. The median was 21 grand. The median, which is the literal middle,
yeah.
not the average. That's the literal middle. So 21 grand was the literal middle income. Holy fuck. Holy, not the average. That's not the average. That's the literal middle.
Uh-huh.
Holy fuck. In 1980, the median
there's a lot of
family
dudes
income
who
was
couldn't afford this.
21 grand. You guys, I was born in 84, bro. What the fuck, dude? Holy shit. The literal median income was only 21 grand in 19. That's how bad inflation has gotten.
What's the median income now?
Yeah, what is the
We're going
current
down
median?
another rabbit hole here.
What's the current
Starting
median?
at
What do you
the-
think it is? Let's take a guess.
What's the current
Before
median?
you look it up, Jason, take a guess.
Median income right now. So we're not doing average. We're doing median.
Median. The actual middle.
72,000.
54,000 is going to be my guess.
I'm going to say, what did you say?
72,000.
You said 54?
Yeah.
The actual middle?
Median. So it's different than the average because the
Right.
average would pull it down, I think.
The actual
So
middle.
Ooh, but it might be higher.
Yeah.
If it's
I'm
the
going to
median.
say 400,000.
It depends on how they're
I'm going to say 400,000.
No, it depends on how they calculate the median, though.
The actual
I don't
middle.
think they're including billionaires in it because that would just
Right.
mess the curve way up.
Well, only on an
'Cause then,
average,
yeah, you-
actually. Wouldn't the average only get fucked up if we include the median? Shouldn't get fucked up.
I'm
by
sticking with
billionaires.
72,000. Let's see what he comes up
You're
with.
smart. You're smart, dude. You're an actual fucking like scientist and physicist and shit. So you're better at math than me. Well, actually, you guys pay a lot of respect to the difference of these things. So the physicists are not mathematicians. I learned this recently.
Well, you
in the
see,
last
I'm
5
asking
years.
how do they calculate it?
Right.
Because
because you have respect for the
Google
difference.
might be assuming median is average
Well,
on a bell curve of some sort.
Well, Google shouldn't be assuming median is average because average is average and median is median. and
Well,
if Google
I'm
is
just
making
saying.
assumptions, then it's not a fucking search engine anymore. It's fucking deciding shit for me, and I
Oh,
don't like it. Dude.
I was
80
close.
grand, you guys nailed it. You said
I said
79?
72,000.
Oh, I thought you said 79. What did
What?
you say, 54?
Yeah.
And what,
I
you
said
said 400,000.
Well, because again, I'm going middle. I'm thinking middle. Because again, I'm thinking Elon Musk fucks that up.
Well,
right?
we can look up how is the median income calculated.
Well, look up the average income. I bet you
they-
that's almost
They might
the
assume
same.
one and the
I
same.
bet you that's almost the same.
Yeah.
Look that up. Look up what the
Because
average
I think
is.
the average person would think median means average.
And then while he's looking this up, that's the average, 40 grand.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is different. You're correct on that.
We have a huge problem in this country. If 40 grand is the average, it should be way higher than that, dude. You have billionaires. Like, you have somebody
but
who has
you're-
$800 billion.
you're
that should
taking-
throw the average
Yeah.
way up.
But I mean, the average that can include teenagers. 16-year-olds. But I
Okay.
mean, well,
Okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
So
yeah,
this
yeah,
is the scientist in
part-timers.
me.
Yep,
So are we
okay,
including
yep.
part timers, or are
No,
these
you're
all
right,
just
you're right,
full
you're right.
timers?
And
Or
I
these?
bet you they are.
I mean, so there's so many different parameters.
Yeah,
That's
the
why
volume of low level
with the
can pull that
news and
down.
everything,
You're
you got to
right.
be careful. Where are they sourcing? How are they calculating? What scientific data are they using to calculate these numbers?
Yeah, because we can always find a news source that'll contradict another
Exactly.
news source. Yeah. What's interesting?
We could go on all the search engines and see if they
What's-
come up with a different number.
So what I always can trust though is when a left wing news source is shitting on their own left wing, right?
Yeah.
So like right now, what was it? NBC and CNN both reported that they did their polls and what was it? 27 and 29% of Americans
Correct.
have a favorable rating of the Democratic Party right now.
That's not very good.
No, it's the lowest in their polling history, their respective polling histories, like literally the lowest of all time.
Yep.
And that's them. Like
Well,
that's not Fox.
that's because they're
That's
all-
not Fox polling. How do you feel about the Democratic? That's what I mean. That's what.
Yeah.
Like if Fox said that, I wouldn't even listen. Like that's Fox.
That's
Get
gonna
out
be
of here,
biased.
dude. Right? That's like CNN polling how people feel about Republicans. Get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
But when
They're polling
CNN
themselves.
says, when
Yeah.
CNN is like, man, people are not happy with the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah.
Then you can kind of start trusting that as maybe that might be real news for once, because it's officially entertainment. You know that, right?
Oh,
Like all the news is WCW.
they want
entertainment.
clicks. They want clicks.
The Donald Trump, Kamala. This is the thing. Like I hope, like as serious as I am about all this politics shit, like it's also WCW at this point. Or sorry, what do you call it now? WWE.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age. It's WWE. It's wrestling. It's
Yeah.
fake. The whole thing's a charade. Like, I don't know who's in control anymore, but maybe it's the aliens, the master race. Maybe maybe AI took over 20 years ago, and we're just now discovering its existence.
Are
I
we
don't
gonna talk about creation theory now?
Well, before we talk about anything, I have to piss.
I do too. How do we do this?
You didn't send me any actual files, so let's do this. Let's pull up one of those destroy the planet links. Actually, you know what? We'll do that second.
Okay.
We'll take one more break because I have these on tap. while you're pissing, send me a Destroy the Planet link that you want to play.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, music, video, whatever. Send it to me through the Facebook Messenger app.
Okay.
Because then he has access. As soon as you send it to me, he sees it.
Yeah.
And then the second break, he'll have that queued up and ready.
Sounds good.
So you can go upstairs and pee in the gentleman's bathroom where the humans pee, and I'm going to piss down here with the... Oh, oh shit.
That's awesome.
We're going to try to play a song. Hopefully, dear God, if I can fucking get any of this to work right. Okay, here we go. Let's just do this one, dude. Is that playing?
I don't hear anything.
Neither do I. What's going on? Bring OBS over here so I can see it. Because remember, this was where you got to go to the main. So many pieces. Not that.
What?
Play that. Play that. Use the mic.
Oops, I'm just having a moment. Yeah, that was not a good moment. Fucking like an amateur out here fucking a football all of a sudden.
Still believing everything you want me to. And when you look at these pieces, can you sense I don't want you to? I am perceiving that you can see right through me. And don't be so cruel, I'm aware. It's a strange discovery that we coalesce apart. What if I would keep us together?
I appreciate.
I can't say that it's gonna be any different
The
than
mics, yeah.
but I know that you mothered me into the man I am today.
So do you want me to load it up into the music file? Oh yeah.
I am farther from the wreck behind me. Now I can see it's a strange discovery that we coalesce apart. What if I will keep us together? It's slowly deconstructing me.
We're back? We're good? Okay. Okay, so here's my question, Al. How long do you think through NASA or SpaceX or Virgin or whatever fucking private, whatever, irrelevant. Give me a number. How many years do you think it will be before we put a human foot on Mars, and why? Because I have my own timetable, and I want to hear your opinion, because I think most people are way too optimistic. Like literally the walking definition of hubris. I don't think they appreciate the complexity, because I went to space camp, dude, and I went to Space Academy as a child. I was obsessed. I was going to be an astronaut. I was going to go to the Air Force. I was going to do it, and then I found out that they do a spinal tap, and if you've ever done LSD, you're not allowed to go to space because you might freak the fuck out. And I was fucked because I did a lot of acid at 14 years old.
Oh.
And so that changed. That I was done. I was done. That entire course of my life was forever
That
dead.
sucks.
So I was like, all right, well, that's so then I just became a fan of space instead of like literally trying to go to space. So when I say I went to space camp and Space Academy and I was obsessed, I am not fucking joking, dude. So I have a very strong opinion of what I think I know, right?
Well, here's here,
and I'm sure there's some Dunning-Kruger in there. Like I get it. Like I understand how.
So are
But
you
I'm
talking
on the better end of the Dunning-Kruger?
You're talking before an actual human sets foot on Mars.
I want to know how long you think it will be until a human sets foot on Mars.
Well, I think they're going to have to do a few more test flights, and you know they've landed on Mars, but they need more data. To make, I mean, I'm sure we have the technology to get someone there. Like we could probably send someone there in the next few years, but I don't think it would be safe yet. I mean, it'd be a crapshoot if someone's going to survive that long. So I think they're going to have to do a couple test runs, you know, to see if, you know, they could fly a dummy shuttle out there. I don't know if they'll fly a chimp anymore like they used to in the 50s and 60s and stuff, but, you know, that monitors oxygen levels, pressure, and this and that to see if it's, you know, the spaceship is going to be, you know, humanly, you know, capable. I mean, we have people out in the space station for hundreds of days and they're just fine, but this is a little different. They're going to be thrusting and then decelerating and stuff like that. They're, you know, the heating and cooling systems are going to work harder as you get further away from the sun. So there's all these parameters. So we have to do a couple test flights, and, you know, each test flight, if it's NASA, takes forever. But if SpaceX is doing it and it's a privately owned company, that could happen a little faster.
A little faster.
A little faster. I mean, there's still lots of red tape and everything to fill out. But I mean, this is purely speculation.
And I'm not asking you
guessing.
to speed run this. We can.
I would like to think if they keep pushing within the next 10 to 15 years, I think we could have someone at least stepping on Mars, kind of like they did with the moon, and do a little jaunt, maybe stay for a couple hours, take some samples. Maybe it'd be a week. I don't know. We got to worry about radiation and all that stuff because it doesn't have an atmosphere like Earth. Gravity is going to be different. Days are kind of similar, but it doesn't spin the same way.
Right.
So I think it's possible. I mean,
it's totally possible.
10 years ago, I would have said, oh, it's going to be a long time. But you know, now that we have SpaceX, and then there's some other, you know, even like, you know, Jeff Bezos has done some stuff, and I don't know if I agree with how he's doing things, but I think we need to do this. I think it's something that pushes and gets people excited for life and
Right.
answers, you know, a little bit more of the unknown, a little bit more of the why and stuff like that. And it kind of, it brings people together when it's something like that, because this is something that everyone dreams about. They look up to the stars and they're like, you know, what's out there? And it doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, wouldn't you want to know? I mean, I don't care who lands on there first. It'd be super cool to just know. I mean, they might get there and this is just a rock. It kind of sucks here. It's cold. There's, nothing of any value, but maybe they'll find some water there that's usable, and maybe they can, they talk about terraforming and stuff like that. I don't know how feasible that is. I think anybody living on Mars right now, it would be a real touch and go, hardcore camping type astronaut scenario. Yeah. And it wouldn't be for very long. So as far as habitation and stuff.
Have you seen Alone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like a I'm in machining, so we deal with tenths of a thousandth of an inch.
Yeah.
Alone is 1/10 of Mars. Bro, like it's very difficult. Yeah. It's very it's an irrational thing, and I think not only is everything you said 100% accurate, I think if you're going to do it the right way, I think you have to set up a series of stations orbiting Mars first.
Yeah.
So there's zero chance of that Matt Damon movie happening.
Yeah. I love that. I love that movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
The Martian.
Yep.
The Martian.
Yeah.
Great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite movies to throw on while I'm cleaning the house. Right?
Like it's fairly realistic. I mean, it gives. I mean,
good,
it makes you go.
Pretty good science.
It seems kind of possible.
Pretty good science.
Yeah.
As far as like hypothetical stretches.
They took some liberties here and there.
Yeah, of course. But like, I mean, come on. Like, if we're really talking about this, there's only 2 movies that have ever actually done it as well. Maybe 3. You've got, and we're comparing them to The Martian. You got Event Horizon.
Oh God, that movie just freaked me out. That one was a movie that made it hard to sleep at night for a little bit.
You want to talk about like actually what that could mean, the blending of the 2 ideas of religion and science and the multiverse and all that shit, cross dimensions, parallel universes, hell, heaven, all that.
Yeah.
Fucking Event Horizon, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's what's up. That movie will fuck your whole ass brain.
Oh yeah, that one. I gotta watch it again. It's been a while, but I was just talking about Event Horizon the other day. I was like, what is the name of that movie where they're, I could describe the movie and then I was like, Event Horizon.
Contact.
Yep.
And
I don't know if I remember Contact so much.
Oh, that's the Jodie Foster one.
Oh.
Where they build the thing. So they receive the message, the binary code or whatever it is from fucking SETI or whatever it is, and then they decode it, and it's a blueprint. They build this thing. She travels through it. It looks like nothing happens, but when she falls through it, she goes through a wormhole, travels through space and time.
I gotta watch that again. I gotta watch all these movies again.
Again, sound science.
Yeah.
They take some liberties, but again, like as far as like building something that's based on like, hey man, this is theoretically very, very plausible or accurate.
Yep.
And then the last one would be Interstellar, like specifically the black hole thing.
Yeah.
The way they imaged that black hole, like because again, it bothers me when people say we have pictures of black holes. Like we literally can't take a picture of a black hole.
Right. It's gonna suck it in.
But will you, since you're an actual scientist,
it's in the black hole.
Will you please, as an actual scientist, please, for once,
nobody will understand
put
it
this
if
to
I
bed.
explain it.
You can't take a picture of a black hole. It's literally impossible.
You can take a picture of the surroundings and how it looks weird and stuff like that, but
correct. And everything we have is basically like
you ever watch any of those
like
videos where
right? it would be a rendering? How would you describe it?
You ever watch those videos on YouTube where it shows time exponentially going into the future and what's going to happen with Earth, and then Earth goes away, and then what starts happening with the universe, and and then they get to the end, and it's all these weird quirks and quarks.
If you do enough acid, that's also what happens. Just so you know, like if you do enough acid, that's exactly what happens.
So just watch that, and I don't need to do acid. All right.
No. Jokes aside, though, like I have actually absolutely had that. Like you're in a thought, and like you just like lean forward, and like man. Yeah, psychedelics or something, man. They'll fucking
Never done any.
they'll show you the universe whether you're intellectually capable of
I've watched
understanding
people
it or
who are
not.
on them. I'm like, what is going on?
My favorite is when somebody's doing mushrooms or something for the first time and they go, "It's all connected, man." and then you just go, yeah, it literally is, dude. Like, welcome to the first step of understanding. Like, it's all fucking connected, bro. No, that one cracks me up too. But to get back to the Mars thing, I think if we're going to do it right, we have to have like a series of space stations.
Yes. So if something goes wrong, they'd have a place they could dock
Within an hour.
Or it might just simply be food and refueling and stuff like that.
We have to be able to, the storms without an atmosphere, we have to be able to send down a rescue pod within 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the ability to have catastrophic
to-
loss of life.
They'll have to have some stations along the way, kind of like extra space stations that go along the way. And then around Mars, they're going to want some satellites that go around there. So if they set up an infrastructure, it'll be a lot safer for humans to go there. And then they can do all their analysis. Right. I mean, that's going to be a lot of money, but it's possible. I mean, there's some billionaires out there that are really into this stuff, and we get more, super rich people into it, they'll fund it.
Oh, not only will they fund it, they're going to get their return on it because the amount of mining, the rare, we call them rare earth minerals, bro. How about rare space minerals?
You have guys that want to go to space and will pay tons of dollars. Once we can make it a little safer, that's how they can start banking some of this money to build another station. Then,
how much did Lance Bass pay to just get into low Earth orbit, which is 0G, but not real space? I think it was $1 million or $10 million or $100 million.
Let me find out.
Something. Now imagine doing that to the moon, which is what you're talking about. You're going to have these stations along the way.
Yep.
Right. So you're going to have probably a docking and refueling station at the moon. Wouldn't that be efficient? Rather than trying to, you would jettison a bunch of fuel to the moon.
Well, here's the problem.
And then get to the moon, then refuel.
The
then
Earth,
go from the
Earth, Mars, and the moon. They're all at different spots at different times. So there's a lot of math involved, making sure that everything is kind of in line. You wouldn't want, a refueling station going the wrong way, and then we got to make another lap around the Earth.
But theoretically, you could just orbit around the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until the timing is right. And
right.
all right, now here we come.
I mean, we could send these out because they're all going to still try to orbit the sun. And, depending on where they are in orbit and how you set them, I mean, a lot of math can be done and approximate.
What is the answer, Jason? Can you get rid of that weird thing there?
Funding fell through, so.
No, but he paid for it. He went up there. Dude, AI is failing us. There's pictures of Lance Bass in space. Yeah. And that was a while ago is what I was getting at. Like, we did that inflation math earlier. Like, the money that you're talking about you could raise, because that's the first step, is commercializing space.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do it just like going up in the Space Needle, right? Like, you'll go up there and you'll eat food. It'll be a romantic dinner. They'll fucking figure out a way to do some stupid shit. Because
I don't think any government is going to fund it that far. Unless it creates a ton of jobs and national interest, and it doesn't tank the economy.
20 million.
I said 10 to 15. Before it becomes commercialized, it'll be a lot longer. But you could commercialize parts of it.
But the real rich people, $15-20 million ain't shit to them anymore.
Right.
Like, people like you and I would save our whole lives to do 20 million, which isn't as much as it was a long time ago, right?
Yep.
Like, but these motherfuckers will just drop that to go to space, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that is.
You make a capsule where you could take 10 of them at a time, Yeah,
and that's definitely what they're going to do. And they'll do the stupid fucking Star Trek thing where they'll spin it at 1 mile an hour. The math has already been done. You just, 1 mile an hour, and you create artificial gravity Is that what it is? I think it is, right? 1 mile an hour, right?
Yeah, it just depends on how it's designed, but
Oh, the mass involved. How much you're spinning? Is that what it is?
I haven't researched that much for.
I thought it was simple.
I haven't researched artificial gravity
I
that
thought
much.
Star Trek. I thought when Star Trek did it, somebody went and did the math, and they were like, "Yeah, no, that's legit. 1 mile an hour. That's all you got to do."
Yeah.
Maybe I made that up. Jason's looking it up for us. The larger the
it
radius
depends on the
requires-
radius.
The larger the radius requiring the slower rotation.
Yeah.
So maybe they were talking about the structure within.
So there's where you're getting your a structure with a radius of about 900 meters would need to spin at a rate of roughly 1 revolution per minute.
Is that 1 mile an hour?
900 meters. So you're looking at
Can you do that math?
three football fields going.
Right. No,
One-
that's 300 yards. That's pretty close, though.
No, I said 3 football fields.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A little more than that, but imagine a big honking arm. So the whole thing.
So 900
the whole-
meters
the
is
whole
about 300 yards.
Yeah.
Is it?
No. Never mind. 9 football fields.
So 100 meters is about 100 yards,
Yeah, it's a little more,
give or
but-
take.
yeah.
Was it like 1.2 or some shit like that? How does that work? I can
Oh,
never
there's a
remember
screen
that
here.
shit. Hold on. It's the same exact screen. I was just going to grab a beer, so I happen to be looking that way.
I'll take another one unless you want a Coors Light.
Dude, you want another?
Yeah, I started with it. I'll do one more. These don't taste too bad right now.
I love these because I can basically, especially when I'm working in the
Here,
yard,
cheers.
I can slam these and I never get drunk. They're
Here,
basically
Your
non-alcoholic.
lawn mowing beers?
Mhm. Like I've literally drank
There
like
it is.
7 of these.
1
and I'm
meter
not even-
equals 1.09.
It is super
So it's
close.
about 1.1.
It is super close. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jason.
Welcome.
Yeah, I was thinking 300 feet to a yard, and I did bad rough math.
300 feet to a yard. That's really
No,
bad.
300 feet to 100 yards. Yes, that was. It's the land shark.
No, but I'm a huge space nerd, dude. So you think 15 years we'll have a guy on, even if he's just touching down, taking samples, hanging out for an hour?
I
that
think
still
I think
counts.
it's possible. You
That
know,
still
some of it's
counts.
going to depend
You think
on
15?
politics and finance that happens over the next several years. But
I originally said 30 to 50 years, and that was 10 years ago.
I probably would have said the same back then, but technology is keeps taking leaps and bounds, and computer models and processing are a lot faster. It's just making sure we can do it safely.
Right, and that's the thing is like, so what do you think about the Van Allen belt? Do you think this conspiracy of getting through the Van Allen radiation belt is real? Like, do you think this is a real problem that we did or did not solve? Like, because I do not buy the moon landing conspiracy. I know we landed on the moon. There's too
Well,
much,
I mean, there's
too much.
There's always going to be
corroborating evidence.
radiation out there. When you're kind of naked out there,
Right.
you burn like that. But yeah, I mean that's why we have to send test probes out there to measure all this stuff. So and do it several times. So we are, fairly certain that you're probably going to make it.
Have you heard about this? Was it Operation Starfield?
Mm-mm.
So basically, it's part of the moon landing conspiracy, which I don't believe in, but I love conspiracies. Love them. Love them. In fact, most of them are real. Right? There's only a few bullshit ones out there.
If they're real, is it a conspiracy anymore?
Well, that's the rub. But there's only a few of them that are bullshit, and they're such bullshit.
Well, so do
that
you want
they
which
discredit-
conspiracy do you want to start with? You want to start with flat Earth?
That's bullshit. The Earth is not flat. That's a dumb.
No, there's
that's
a
dumb.
model of the flat Earth.
No,
Come
it's
on,
not, and it's not hollow.
there's a dome,
and it's not
there's,
hollow. This is dumb. All of this is dumb.
There's a whole flat Earth society. They have meetings and stuff.
My favorite conspiracy is the X-Files version of the JFK assassination, which is that somebody was in the gutter because it actually makes sense especially if you actually look at the way the road goes.
Oh,
and
I have a new one to add on that one.
Where there was somebody hanging in the sewer and they were in the gutter, and that's where the shot from the grassy knoll comes from, right? And like it actually everything checks out, the trajectory, everything. It's in X-Files, like. And I was just like kind of scratching my head watching this, and I was like, did they really just tell us how this happened? Because I don't know.
No, but I heard another theory that
that's the most plausible actual conspiracy.
who was the gunman? It was Oliver, or what's his name?
I don't fucking Oswald?
Oswald, yeah. Oliver, no, Oswald. So they said, the last theory I heard is he did fire the first shot but missed.
Sure.
But
And so another shot was fired,
was
sure.
actually shot by one of the Secret Service agents. That I don't know if they went over a bump or something, and trying to fire in defense or whatever. But
You mean like in the car?
in the car, and it went off and shot him.
I also think that's
maybe one of the
bullshit.
follower cars or something.
Yeah, I
like
also
that.
think so. There's the one
But
the
I
driver
I
conspiracy
just heard
where
that
he
the other
turned
day.
around and shot him like this. Like, sorry for the
No,
camera.
what they're saying
For the
was
people
an
who can see
accident.
it,
Like the agent was ready to shoot and fire back maybe at Oswald, but then bumped and accidentally pulled the trigger or something weird like that.
Yeah. So okay. So here's.
Does that
I
make
don't know,
sense?
I don't know about that one. That one sounds like somebody new is making that up, because that doesn't really make any sense. But there is a version of that I've heard for years, which is that the driver. And now for the cameras, I have to do this in reverse. So for the cameras, I'm going to use my right hand, but you just in your mind invert it, right?
Yeah.
So for you, I'm just going to do it in reverse.
Okay.
But basically, the driver allegedly turns around, pulls a gun, and shoots
Shot him point blank.
right in the face.
But it would have been much more brutal, wouldn't it have?
Well, I mean, it was pretty brutal. So like, I don't buy that
they-
one either.
You'd think
I
they,
don't buy
they
that
could
one either.
forensically tell if it was close range or far.
It depends.
Right?
So it depends on the speed of the bullet and the caliber of the bullet, right?
So maybe it was a really small weapon, but at close range it was lethal.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not a ballistics expert, but I don't think that's legit. I don't think that's a good theory.
Do you think they're
But
going to find
I
anything in
think
the
he
new
got
files?
I think he got 8,000 documents. I'm going to use AI. I'm going to use
That's
AI.
a ridiculous amount of
I'm going to use
pages
AI.
to go through.
Dude, bro, I'm going to use AI. This is where I want to go with this.
Is
next.
have they all been scanned and uploaded? And
They're apparently out there. I haven't had time yet. This weekend. That's all I'm going to say is this weekend, dude. This weekend, me and AI, we're going
you're just going to
balls
go into
deep.
AI and go, tell me what happened in one paragraph.
I mean, I'm going to do a little bit more than that, but
He shot himself.
I'll break. Here's what I'll actually do. If you really want to know how I'm going to try to do it, is I'm going to use Grok from Twitter, because I think that's the best AI out there right now. And I'm going to try to break down the 8,300 pages down, and I'm going to ask it to break it down in 1,000-page chunks.
Oh.
Right? So in 1,000-page chunks,
You're still going to
summarize
try to go through all those pages? That's
Summarize
like reading
that.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something.
Well, is what I'm going to try to, more like the Bible, right? Like I'm going to try to, and I'm going to go, okay, break this down, and then I'm going to try to tell it to get rid of certain filler words,
Yeah.
right? Because like I've started to learn how to use the prompts in AI. Have you fucked with AI at all?
No.
Dude, if you do it right. Bro, if you do it right, it's
Now,
fucking...
at Guitar Center, we use AI for descriptions on used gear. It's actually kind of cool.
That's why I have such a horrible experience.
No,
I'm
this-
just-
no,
I'm
no,
just-
thi-
I'm kidding. I'm
no,
kidding.
it's-
I'm joking.
it's
I'm joking,
new
dude.
within the
I'm
last-
I'm totally joking.
Within the last few months, because normally we'd have to type in a description
I'm joking, dude.
but now we do AI and it does, I don't know how it does its web search or whatever, and it's super accurate.
That's super interesting, dude.
I mean, once in a while it screws up and we have to override it and type in the right stuff, but
Sure.
It's
That
right.
w-
And when we take pictures, now when we take pictures of used gear, I could take a picture of a guitar right in front of you and all this background.
It'll just get rid of
automatically
it.
white it out, and you'll have a perfect
Awesome.
picture. So
Man.
it's actually that's where the use of AI is pretty cool. And now most of us don't mind taking pictures, and
Right.
and
No,
uploading.
that's legit though, because when we were in Edina, we fucking like spent time like polishing the guitar.
It was a pain in the butt.
And like we had a backdrop, and like we would take pictures at angles because we learned if you really spent, and we'd like change the lighting and shit because we learned if you really did
but
this
you have a special
we
spot
would
now.
sell
Imagine
this fucking guitar quick.
now. Imagine a drum set. You can't quite get it into that area and stuff like this.
We
Now
would stack it. No, we would fucking, dude, we would make it work, dude. This is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, there was times we had to go outside the door and, like, take
no,
a
but
weird,
but
awkward
you
fucking-
would spend 10, 15 minutes sometimes. Now I just stack it up, take a picture, done.
Yeah, that's amazing.
it's-
and it matters.
this
and
is a
that's what
good
I'm saying.
a
I'm
good use of
validating it.
technology.
Yeah, because
Yep.
I'm saying, like, getting good pictures of used gear sold our gear faster
Yep.
than other stores
Well,
who
now
had the same
we're
guitar
required to
sitting
take
there.
5 or 6 pictures, so we do different angles. It won't let it pass, or we get yelled at by managers if we don't do the right
That's
number of pictures.
awesome.
So, which makes it a lot easier for now I'm getting all corporate, but
No, but it's good. If you guys are still on commission, that's good for you guys.
Yeah.
That's good for you guys. You make more sales. That's it. You know, or even if you're not commission, if it's bonus tiers or whatever the fuck, it's all the same thing, right? Which I hope to God you guys are, because
no, we're still commissioned.
I don't.
I mean,
ever-
we make our base pay plus commission.
I don't ever want to buy anything from anybody who isn't on commission. Like, if you don't get a commission, then why do you care? Like,
Yeah.
that's the sales guy in me.
Yep.
Like, for real. Like, because I want to build something here, right? If I'm gonna buy a car,
Well,
from
you
if I'm gonna-
recognize it because you work there and stuff. And everywhere I go, if I'm like, "Are you on commission?" And then I always go back to that same person.
Exactly. That's my point.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless they were a jerk or something like that, I'm like, But even then, sometimes I'm like, "This is how a dude makes money. I'll give him I always try to give someone a second chance, and I'll
So
go
what
back.
what I do, because I'm I'm that motherfucker. So I go back and I go, hey man, I'm gonna buy this from you because I know how hard this is. But just so you know, you fucked up here, and here. I'm gonna give you this sale, but don't
This is
fucking
how you
do
make
this
it
shit
better
again.
next time.
But don't fucking do this shit again.
Yeah.
Like, I'll come back a third time now, but if you pull that shit again, there won't be a fourth time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you probably struggle for repeat business.
Yep.
Right? Like, so
Well, because
Cut the shit.
sometimes guys are having a bad day or
Right.
something. I've gone to car dealers and stuff, and I'm like, he's a little off, but I'll give him a chance. And usually it ends up being great the next time because they're like, oh, dude came back. I need to.
yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting world in sales because, like, I had to get out of it for a long time because I found myself pressured between what my bosses wanted and what was actually best for my customers. And I'm not talking
It's-
about Guitar Center. I'm talking about sales in general.
That's the ongoing thing because
Like, what was actually best for my customer was to spend the $200 over here, but my boss really needed me to get him to spend $600.
yeah.
And he was unhappy with me, and that really started to wear on me. and
Well,
my
so
character.
what I found works for me. This might not work for everyone. Is I don't care if you have $200 or if you got $2,000. I'm gonna find you the best thing
for that money.
for that money. And once you earn the respect from someone,
Yep.
they might be willing to spend a little more. I mean, it's happened where I've shown someone, say a $1,000 guitar. I'm like, thinking that's what they need. I'm like, I only got $300. Then I show them the $300 guitar, and next thing you know, they're walking up to the counter with the $1,000 guitar. They're like, well, I talked to my parents and, grandpa and whatever, they're
Yep.
going to chip in. And you're right. This is going to last me a lot longer. I'm really into this. So you just have to, now I'm talking sales tactics, but
no, I would do the same
but it's
thing.
just,
though.
it's just being honest with someone.
I would do the same thing.
But sometimes they're like, all I have is $300 and that's cool.
There's
you know?
other times, though, I would, like, the opposite would happen. I remember one time I was standing at the accessories counter, and this couple walked up, and they were like, hey, we want to buy a wireless microphone. We think we want that one. And I looked at it, and I looked at them, and I was like, what are you using it for? And they were like, we're going to do karaoke. And I went, where? And they were like, at our lake cabin. And I went, what are you plugging this into? And they went, we have a really nice stereo in our house.
Oh, they're going to blow
with
the
like,
speakers.
with like beautiful PA speakers like built into our house. I was like, the $100 one is going to be more than enough. You do not need the $700 fucking Sennheiser
Yeah, but
wireless
they're going to
microphone.
blow
Like,
their home stereo speakers.
no, what they were running it through, because I qualified.
Oh,
They were
okay.
running it through a
karaoke thing.
machine that was wired into their home stereo
It's
system.
still
So
hard on those speakers.
no, it was
Oh.
super. Like I talked to them, they were like, it's like,
It was designed
like,
for it.
yeah. Well, it was like what they were doing was a far spread, very low volume.
Okay, so they weren't like cranking it and
Exactly.
Okay.
It wasn't a concert. It was at their lake home on the fucking literal lake shore. And then I realized, well, I didn't realize this. I found out later that they were related to the Polads. And then the Polads, literally, Jim Polad came back and bought the exact same thing from me.
yeah.
And then through that dude, somebody else
So
referred
everybody
somebody
in
else to
that-
come to me.
all their friends
and then,
wanted
no,
it.
what happened is I got a job offer.
Oh.
And then I fucked that job offer up because I was too loyal to Guitar Center because they tried to recruit me during holiday season. I was like, I'm not bailing during Christmas season.
Yeah.
I was like, I will take this job, but I'm not willing to take this job until I think I said March 1st. Because I was like, it has to be after clearance and it has to be
But they wanted
through,
you now.
And they were like, okay, well, we'll talk again in January after NAM or February. When is NAM? NAM's
there-
January?
Yeah, January, and then there's a summer one as well.
Yeah, so I think they said we'll talk after NAM, so like late January, February. And we had a scheduled meeting, and I called on whatever the fuck it was, like February 1st, when we said we were going to figure out the plan. And they were like, oh, we moved on. So I fucked
Woulda,
that
coulda,
up.
shoulda, right?
Man, I would have made a lot of fucking money. It was a great job I fucked up. But it was literally through proper and downselling these people because I was like, that's not what you need. So we made several more sales.
They appreciated your honesty.
Dude, and here's the thing is they also came back and bought a lot more gear because they really built their little karaoke system out. It was pretty cool over time. But again, it was through doing what was right for the customer. And in that case, ironically, it wasn't upselling. And I learned a lot in those experiences, because I had already done a lot of big deals.
Yeah.
So when these elderly folk came up, and they're like, I was like, you do not need the $800 one. The $100 one is going to be more than enough for what you're doing. And then I just told them, don't point it at anything. just don't point it at anything and you'll be fine. And they were very happy, and they sent me a lot of customers and a lot of nephews and a lot of grandsons and several churches. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. So
that's happened.
not upselling
many times
was
to me.
way better in the
I've
long
sold
run.
a karaoke system to. It's usually a mixer, some speakers, and a couple of wireless mics. And you sell one, and I had there's a lot of people in the karaoke basement world. I don't know how to say it politically correct, but I had this one family, and they had lots of cousins, lots of relatives and everything. They bought it, then the cousin came, I want one just like, Bob has, and then I'm making up names. And then Bob has a friend, Steve, and then, it was 6 or 7. They all, because they go to each other's house and party at night, and they just have these karaoke parties.
Well, I want one at my house now.
And then they're like, well, then they get the system, and then they come back and they want
They
lights
wanna
and
outdo
everything.
each other,
And then they outdo each other. Oh, Bob got this light. What do you have? And, I need 2 of them. And then it's
best
kind of
version
funny.
of that.
Yeah.
The best version of that.
What size? And then sometimes they're like, what size did he get? Well, he got a 12-inch. I want the 15-inch speaker. It's like
You'll have to ask, because I think I heard this story from Trent Dutcher. So you might have to ask Trent. I might be making this up. It might have been Carson.
okay.
But I'm convinced I heard this story from somebody at Edina. And Trent, I worked with Trent twice at Edina. He came in for 2 different holidays.
Yeah.
So that's how I know Trent, right? Super cool dude. Came in, fucking ran Black Friday with us, fucking super tight dude.
Was this when he was
He was still working
working in Appleton?
No, he
or
was
something, or-
doing
Oh, he was doing the build outs. Like
he was doing something mobile with GC,
Yeah,
something traveling or mobile.
I
Whatever.
think he did store build outs when they like remodel or
I
grand
think he was
openings
doing
and stuff.
something with training, but regardless,
Yep.
it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but he came in and helped us with some Black Friday shit. So, I swear this was him, but again, I might be making this up. But it was definitely where I heard this story with somebody at where, honestly, it's almost like the Righteous Gemstones, because I remember them calling it the Church Wars, where that's what happened. So basically, one church came in.
Yeah.
They
I
had
sell to a
little
lot
money,
of churches too,
and they upgraded their PA, and suddenly they had a band, and then like another church came in, and they were like, "We want what they have." And then another church came in and they were like, "We want what they have plus 10%." And it just like, and then there was like this group of sales guys, but I don't think this was Minnesota. This is why I think it was Trent Dutcher.
Oh.
Because I remember hearing this story.
where he was. Yeah.
I remember hearing the story in Edina, but I don't remember the names of any of the churches mentioned. So it couldn't have been it couldn't be a local story. So this is why I think it was Trent Dutcher. But basically these churches just kept trying to one up each other. And this one store or this one sales guy, I don't remember what it was, but sold like $500,000 worth of shit over
Just
the
to
course
all
of
these
like
churches,
3.5 years, dude. Them just all just ego bruising each other all the way spiraling to like
And this is supposed to be churchy.
and they eventually were just trying to, because this sales guy was, and that's why I think it was Trent Dutcher.
Well,
because I think this is, something tells me this is like either how Trent Dutcher got a job or a promotion, or why Trent Dutcher promoted somebody or they got it. Something. Again, correct me. If you're watching this, Trent, correct me, because
Trent's at Rad right now.
what the fuck is that?
Rad. It's like a BMX movie. It's like this iconic.
Wait, what?
You gotta bring Rad up on the computer. So
RAD.
So Trent and Seth went to see Rad tonight.
Yeah.
Trent invited me, and I'm like, I have to do a podcast with Jared. He's like, oh, dude, you got to see Rad. It's a yearly thing. Every year.
You should have canceled and gone and seen that
I should have
movie.
gone
It
to
would have
Rad.
been way more fun.
Yeah, so this is it. So Trent and Seth are at Rad right now.
Loved this movie as a kid.
Yeah, and
Oh, this is like an old movie.
Yeah.
and so they're probably watching it right now. Yeah, and then so it started at 7, and then afterwards there's like an hour-long documentary about it as well. So I forget where it's at, but Trent was bummed I couldn't go
So he
to
can't
Rad
correct
with
me
him.
right now. So
No,
maybe in retrospect.
he did
but-
tell me which video to play though.
But I swear I remember hearing this story, and it was like the church wars. And it just, like, in retrospect, it actually sounds a lot like the Righteous Gemstones. Have you seen that show?
No.
The televangelists, like, competing with other televangelists. Like,
Well,
it's
what's funny
exactly what
is-
you think it would be.
You know, there's all this separation of. Here we're getting religious here, but
Well, this is a comedy show. It's total satire.
but I mean, this
it's
is like,
televangelists, like, being in. Pull up just a picture of the Righteous. We don't even need to play a preview. Just all he needs to do is see the people from the Righteous Gemstones, and he'll get the vibe what I'm talking about. Because in retrospect, the story I'm talking about, now that this show is out, this is what it reminds me of. Like a bunch of small. You got it?
Yeah, I got the cat.
Just find a random image and just pull it over.
Anything?
Here. Yeah, like literally. He just has to see the people. I don't. Just pull it over here, Jason. Jesus Christ, buddy. Okay, now hit images. Yep. Right.
Oh, I see it already.
Yeah. Right. Scroll down. Yeah, that one's pretty good, and then scroll down a little bit more.
Oh my gosh.
There, the one with fucking what's his name to the right. That one. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh
That's
yeah,
basically
that almost looks like an SNL type thing.
It is. It's total caricatures. Like it's absolutely. And this is
They
basically
took someone and then amplified everything.
Yes. That's what I'm describing. So in retrospect, thinking of this story, that's what I picture now. Is like these tiny little normal churches, like suddenly like trying to like pretend they're in this like mega church race.
Yeah.
Which is basically what that show is. It's hilarious.
Well, so I don't know if you know.
They're
but
actual mega churches.
I've worked with quite a few churches and used to run sound at a couple of big churches.
I have zero problem with churches.
And no.
or any of that shit, but
what
it's
I'm
funny.
getting at is it's interesting once you're on the inside. So I used to work at a...
Are you religious at all?
I grew up Catholic. So...
I'm technically a Christian.
Yeah.
But do you find them people creepy at all? Because, like, man, I get so fucking uncomfortable.
Sometimes.
Hanging around the church folk, dude.
Sometimes.
Like, I don't know what it is.
Well,
I don't know what it is, dude.
I've got a little story. So there's this church I worked at in Virginia, Northern Virginia. Nicest people you'll ever meet. And so I was running sound at a club called Ned Devine's. Great club in Fairfax, or just outside of Fairfax, Virginia. And I ran sound there every, was it Friday night or Saturday night? I think Friday night. It was always a live cover band. And so I did that for years, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, they treated me nice, gave me free beers, I got paid well. All the bands that came through there were like high caliber cover bands. And so then there's this other guy that kind of was working there before I got there, and we got to know each other a little bit, and he'd show up from time to time. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing next Sunday?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I run sound at this church. Do you want to come and check it out?" I'm like, "No, I really, really, really don't want to get up at like 5:30 in the morning on a Sunday. I mean, that is just not interesting to me at all." He's like, "Well, just come on and check it out. And you know, I'd like you to fill in. I just have a couple times I need you to fill in." I'm like, God, he's a super nice guy. And so I'm like, all right, fine. So I got up at the crack of dawn after I was probably up until 2 or 3 in the morning. So I had 2 or 3 hours of sleep. So I'm like, oh, the people were the nicest people ever. And so they just killed me with kindness. So I sat there the whole time. And then it was like a week or two later, they needed me to fill in. Like, hey, can you run sound? And, you know, he had showed me the board, and so I knew it was a digital board. And I'm like, fine, I'll do it. So I did it. And then they needed me to fill in again. I'm like, okay. And then I think it's Larry was his name. Larry's like, "Oh, I'm moving to New York. Do you want the gig?" I'm like, oh, God.
No, I don't. Larry.
I didn't. It was just like, okay, I get paid on time. Nobody's drunk. I'm home before noon. And so at the time, I was still working at Guitar Center, and this is when Guitar Center is open noon to 6.
Okay.
So I would get there at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And there was 2 services, and I do the 2 services, and then I could go work at Guitar Center. So I was working all day long. And then, but one of the first times I was there, I treated it like a show, and like, so we always had a meeting and stuff like that. And so, you know, so-and-so is going to do this, and then we're going to walk out, and then we're going to do these 3 songs. So they would do like, I mean, it was like a church that did basically rock songs, church rock songs.
Sure.
But we had a piano player, we had 4 or 5 singers, sometimes a choir. And so there's a lot of, you know,
It's a lot.
production.
It's a lot.
And so I go to the pastor. I'm like, okay, so before the show, we need to do this and that. And then after the show, we'll do this. And so about the second weekend, he's like, Albert, it's not a show. It's a service. Some people come here and they're hurting.
I feel like I've heard
And so,
this.
I mean, I was just like scolded for a call, because to me, it was a show. I did nothing different than what I do for a show.
He's wrong.
Right,
Hold
right.
On,
So
hold on.
this is what I'm getting at.
Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
It is a show.
Because he's fucking wrong, by the way. Yeah, keep going.
It is a
Keep
show.
going. It is a show.
And so that's why for years I've always been like, when I go to a metal show, to me it almost feels like I'm going to church, because it makes me feel better.
Different angle.
I get to talk with my friends and family and other musicians. I leave feeling really good and energized. And I used to go to church all the time as a kid, and sometimes you'd leave, especially if you've gone to like an Easter Mass or something. You kind of feel uplifted after that because they do the Passion Play and everything.
Right.
It's like super intense and all this. I feel the same way after a metal show. And, and that's a show. I know it's a show. But, people put their blood, sweat, and tears into writing music, just like they do at the church. And then he corrected me, and so that has stuck with me for years.
No, fuck that guy. And here's why.
But
here's why.
But
though, because
that's so. I don't want to say that to him because he's super nice.
Not
but
literally fuck that guy. But
that was his
flippantly say that.
lane, and I understood it and
but no,
respected it.
He's wrong though, because here's the thing,
but
man.
you are. I do agree with you that he's wrong because to me it was still a show, and that was my perspective.
But here's why it's a show, and here's why he's wrong, right? Because whether he's wrong or not is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's why.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because regardless of whether you went there to see or hear anybody perform music in any way, shape, or fucking form,
Yeah.
you're gonna hear or see music performed in some shape or form. That is an audio-visual experience.
And it's a show.
And if it is off-putting in any way, shape, or form, it could take somebody out of their experience. And if they're there to worship God and the music is so shitty, they get distracted and they don't have a good time and worship God, they're either not going to worship God or they're going to go to another church to worship God. Bad for you. Number two, if it's great, if it's seamless, if it's inspiring, if it's uplifting, if it's not distracting, and they have the greatest church experience of their life, they're definitely going to come back.
Yep.
We're responsible for
Just
that.
like a metal show.
We are responsible for that.
Yep.
Just like a fucking metal show, Al. Just like a...
But
dude, I get so fired
but-
up
but
about
here-
this. Like,
but
it is
here-
our responsibility
it gets
to
even
make
better.
the viewer and the listener and the performers and the crew members. It is our responsibility to make everybody have the greatest possible time to make them want to come back.
yes.
Whether they're
It
paying us
applies
a cover charge
or going to
and
church.
drinking beer, or they're donating and tithing 10%. It's the same thing. And it doesn't mean it's a racket, it's all entertainment. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when we put on a performance of any kind, whether it's a comedy show, whether it's a musical performance as a church, whether it's a fucking dive bar, punk rock show,
Yeah.
you're asking people to be in a place and then you're going to perform for them. That should happen to a level that not only is tolerable, which seems to barely be comprehensible anymore, but it should be goddamn enjoyable.
Yeah.
So people want to come back. But too many people in this town, specifically this town, have shitty tone. They half-ass their performances. They don't fucking rehearse enough. And then they feel entitled to not fucking promote shows, not pass out flyers, not pull Facebook ads, not do a fucking billboard, not do a goddamn thing,
I hit a hot button.
and then barely draw anybody. And then they're like, oh, yeah, fucking, oh, nobody cares anymore. You don't fucking care, dude. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about a church or we're talking about a local show, dude. It's all the same exact. It's all connected, man. Like,
Full circle.
it's the same exact thing, dude. It's what are we doing? Are we wasting time? Are we patronizing people with music? Or are we trying to supply them with some sort of experience here? Like, what is the point of even having music at church if you're not going to give a shit about how the whole orchestration of the whole thing goes down? Especially, like you said, all this elaborate shit. We've got 5 fucking singers. We've got all these.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we spent all this money
It's
and
a
all this
huge
time to
production.
do this. And you're just going to shit on the idea that, hey, we should
Well,
do this
and-
better and this better and this better because it would make
So
the-
we're all paid. We're all paid musicians, and I was a paid sound engineer at this church. So, and I
that shit pisses
I
me
worked
off.
at a-
You didn't hit a hot button, but this is like a theme that seems to like pop up. Keep going.
well,
Sorry.
then, so I also worked at Grace Church
I'm
in
sorry.
Eden Prairie.
I
It's
didn't mean to
it seats
interrupt.
4,000 people.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and so I worked at Capitol Church in Northern Virginia, and that was a little over 1,000 people. So move here, and then I'm working at Grace Church, 4,000 people. Big, huge production, massive Yamaha digital board, the best sound, the best, and we had top-notch musicians and everything. It's a serious business. Everything has to sound perfect. I mean, we've got sound pressure level meters. We had video cameras. It's live streamed. I mean, I don't know how to articulate this, but it was almost as if the show was more important than the message, is how I would sometimes feel. It's like
They went the other way.
right, because normally it's the pastor and the delivered message is supposed to be the most important thing, and that's what you go home with. But some of these big churches, I mean, it sounds great. You're getting lots of people involved. They're all tithing. They're all doing this and that, and it's you leave, you're like, wow, that was awesome and stuff. But I start thinking about it, and I'm like, the way I grew up with religion. Now, I didn't think we were going to talk about religion, but anyway, it was a serious thing. I mean, when the priest talked, that is what you took home. It didn't matter if anyone was singing. It didn't matter if anyone was doing this. Now it feels like that's a little flipped. And I'm not a super religious person right now. I believe there's stuff out there, and I'm not going to get into details of what I believe or anything.
Fair.
But it feels a little disconnected now.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think the services are amazing. I think the technology and sometimes the messages are good and stuff like that.
A lot of it is a cult.
I don't want to completely dog on it because
I'm just gonna say it. A lot of it's a cult now. A lot of it's a cult.
It works for some people and makes them happy, and that's fine. But being on the inside, it's a business. I'm sorry.
100%.
It's 100%. It's a business.
And it's a cult.
And being on the inside,
a lot of it's a cult.
People still rip on each other. People still, it's not all holy and peaceful on the inside either. It's no different than working anywhere else.
Right.
Although
they got rent, they got mortgages.
Most of your customers are happy when they're there. I don't know if they're happy when they leave, but that's a whole nother topic.
It's an interesting vibe because, like, even as somebody who's a Christian, like, I have very, very huge problems with pretty much all churches. Like, any church I've gone to.
Oh, wait. So I have something for you.
Any church I've ever gone to, it's like 90 days to 6 months before I'm like, I'm out. And it doesn't phase my religious belief, but I'm like, this church is bullshit. And then I go to another one, and I'm like, 6 months later, I'm like, bullshit. Because it doesn't take much.
I have something better for you. I have something way better for you.
To pervert some shit to try to make a buck.
I'm going to start the Church of Born.
Uh-oh. I'm not joining. I can't join it. I can't. I'm already out. I can't join anybody's church. Because if
it's going to be perfect.
Because if you're,
I'm gonna create.
Because if you're a real Christian, I can't join anybody's church.
I'm gonna create the perfect church. That's what everyone says.
I can't make any pledges. I can't do it, man. I can't make any oaths or pledges, dude.
It's been my joke for many years. I subscribe to the Church of Born. I believe in what I want to believe in.
Dude, there's this dude on Instagram. If I was gonna join a church, it would be his church. It's the Church of Sound. And his whole thing is he screams at the camera and he goes, I'm evading the government on tax evasion because I'm creating a church called the Church of Sound. And he basically set up the most megalithic wall straight out of Mad Max of speakers just cranking Van Halen and Led Zeppelin, dude.
So people show up and that's all you do is just...
If I was ever going to join a religion, see if you can find that.
But I mean,
see if you can find that.
Theoretically, you could, right?
If I'm ever joining a cult or a religion,
I mean, so what do you need? What do you need to be a nonprofit church? I mean, what are the qualifications? Could this be a church right here? Are we doing the right things for church stuff? See, that's what
I've researched this.
That's what
and
drives
I can't
me nuts.
remember
What are the qualifications to church?
It's defined. It's very well defined, actually, which pisses me off.
Why is it defined?
Is not fucking real. Scientology is a fucking bullshit tax evasion cult.
No,
And
they knocked on my
somehow-
door all the time.
Dude, somehow it's considered a religion, even though the guy who made it up was a sci-fi writer. Like,
Or no, I'm thinking of Seventh-day Adventist.
yeah, that's also fucking made up. Like it's, dude. Anything,
Church of Sound, there it is. So he's just cranking music. And
Hold on. I might have not named him right. Scroll down, because he's got videos. These are just flyers. These are beautiful flyers, though. Holy fuck, these are beautiful flyers. Jesus Christ, Minneapolis local scene. Take a look at how to make some fucking flyers. Holy shit, what did we just stumble on?
you got to go back up.
Scroll up, dude. These are beautiful flyers. This is how you make flyers. You want people to know you're doing a show and you're playing music and people should show up. This is how you make flyers. Look at all the different versions. Slow down, stop. See how that one's all text? The Chives one, the brown one? Scroll down. Yeah, make that go full screen. Look how simple that is.
Listening sense. It looks like someone. Yeah, it's London. Yeah.
It's a flyer, but you know what's happening immediately.
I think
Keep
this
going
Church
up.
of Sound.
Keep going up. This is a band or something.
Yeah.
These are beautiful flyers, man. Minneapolis, if you want to learn how to fucking promote shows.
I think I know.
You think you know who I'm talking about? He's like from LA or something, or Las Vegas or some shit.
What else should we talk about?
What do you want to talk about, buddy?
I don't know.
We hit all the shit I wanted to talk about. We hit space travel. We hit accidentally religion.
Religion by accident.
We talked about at least we
didn't talk about all the different types of religion and why they don't all work. Ooh, that's heavy.
I mean, that's a whole podcast. We should save that for next
Say-
time. Do you
say
want to
that.
come on in next time?
Just talk about religion.
We could, because I did a lot of studying of all the religions, dude.
Buddhism,
going back to
Muslim.
the Samanas is what I
Yeah.
studied, which is the birth of Buddhism.
And why do a lot of metal bands sing about religion?
I don't know. It's a weird thing, dude. Religion's weird because I think religion.
I mean, even
is,
singing about the devil is religion. So singing about, isn't it weird?
you could be religious about anything. You're
Right.
religious about playing drums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
But it's an
simple
underlying
term is
theme in a lot of metal.
Human beings are religious. Religion is nothing more than an institution that we created,
Yeah.
right? So it's a practice. Oh, you want to be a drummer? Here's the
The
institution.
religion of drumming. Yeah.
Oh, you want to be a musician? Go to Juilliard. That's a church.
Well, we should probably talk about drums.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't
How
know.
shitty of a drummer I am?
No. What's with the Coors dude?
Yes. Okay. Fucking play one of these videos, dude. That is him. Unmute. I don't care if we get flagged.
Squirtle, I may not have a six-pack, but I got a beer bong in my pants. You want me to show you, darling?
Look at all those speakers.
Here at the Wall of Sound, we have just released
The
this
Wall of
month's
Sound.
free Wall of Sound sticker. Drop a hell yeah if you want that bad boy.
Hell yeah,
we only
brother.
got 1,000 of them, and we have just released free
1
1
million
million beers hat.
please.
Drop a hell yeah for
So
that,
bad.
baby. Rock and roll. Hey,
It's got a
if you
chain.
don't
Tax
show
evasion
anything
moment.
to
Tax
sell
evasion.
anything,
You see it at
you
the top
don't
of the
have to
screen.
pay
It says tax
sales
evasion
tax.
moment.
Tax evasion. If I were a Pokemon, I would be beer
Cut it.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is exactly the guy I was talking about, dude. That is. If I join a church, it's his church.
Okay.
That's my
Fair
leader.
enough.
That's my leader. Hell yeah, bro. I don't even care anymore, dude. If I ever truly join a cult or a church, it's him. Fuck it. I'm going out with the sun, dude. Let's go out, baby. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to. Dude, I'll do whatever I need to do to survive with that dude because I'm going to have a good fucking time playing
Yes.
Van Halen and drinking light beers,
day
dude.
long. Could drink a Coors Banquet.
I'm going to go fucking hunt a pig, bring it back, smoke it. He's going to find beer. Like, he's going to find beer. And we're Zombie Apocalypse. I want to hang out with that dude.
Church of Sound, sponsored by Coors Banquet.
Oh my god, dude. No, Zombie Apocalypse. I want to hang out with that dude. Let's just ride it out, bro. We're gonna fucking smoke meat and fucking party, dude. Zombie Apocalypse. Are you eating meat?
You know,
Would you say
people
fuck
ask
it?
me this question all the time. So, if I ever get stranded on an island and there is nothing else
Well,
to
of course
eat,
you're gonna eat meat. That's a
yes.
stupid
I mean, I
question.
hate
Jesus,
that question.
those
But
people are
here,
dumb.
I answered it. So if me, my kids, or my wife, anything happens, we would eat meat. Okay, there it is. But
if you could stay vegan during the zombie apocalypse,
as
you
long
wouldn't.
as I have a choice, I'm not going to.
So the answer is no. Zombie apocalypse, you're not eating meat because there's no fuck it for you in there. If
Right.
you can stay vegan, you're staying vegan.
Right.
I respect that, dude.
Yeah.
I really
so
do.
I mean, I'm not gonna kill me or my family if we can't, or if there's a medical procedure or something. I'm not. I mean, yes, then I'm okay with it. But and then I'm sure someone's gonna chime in. Well, to get that drug to certification, they had to test on this and that. Yes, I understand that. So shut up.
So what do you want to talk about, man?
Well, we got to talk about drums a little bit. Maybe guitars.
Yeah, but what do you want to talk about in regards to drums? Because like I'm not that great of a drummer, so it's hard for me to like.
What's your
have
favorite bass drum pedal?
Well, I just played the Iron Cobras with the DW beaters because
I like that you use the DW beaters. Those are.
I needed the balance between. I did it, dude.
So it's funny.
I had you in the back of my head going, "We're talking about moving mass."
I have a double pedal Iron Cobra. Oh, actually, no. I
needed the extra torque.
I put the Tama
right?
beaters back on it, but on my Axis pedals, I use DW beaters.
I needed the torque.
Because
You know what
I
I'm talking
hate-
about. So when
Yeah,
you
you get a little
turn
more
when you
weight.
turn the cam,
Yeah.
when you turn the cam, it's specifically on. It's not.
No, your
it's
pedal-
not the full throw.
Your
right?
pedals
'Cause it's
felt pretty good. I would have liked a little more spring tension, but they felt pretty good.
So you think I should tighten them up a little bit?
I mean, that's me personally.
No, I've been struggling a little bit to be consistent.
So
And
I
I'm always trying
I
to
felt
figure
like
out.
once I got to a certain speed, I didn't have enough rebound. But your head is pretty loose too. So
Yeah, I need to look at my bass. So the bass,
But
my
I mean,
bass head
I
is
don't-
the one head. The bass head is the only head I'm not confident in how I have it tuned up.
So I don't tighten my bass drum head particularly good or tight. I tune it so it sounds good, which is usually, finger tight, and then about a maybe eighth to a quarter turn on each one, maybe just a little past wrinkle. Same with the front head. I don't want it to sound like a dead cow, but I want it punchy, and I put one pillow in there, and that way I get a good acoustic sound. I use an Audix D6 inside.
Okay.
And I usually get compliments from sound engineers.
Do you still do the inserted mic?
Yep. All my drums are
I
internally
remember when you did that.
mounted inside. So for my show kit,
Explain to people what we're talking about, because I remember
So-
when you did this. I remember when you talked about this,
I've been doing it for
and
years.
then I remember when you did it.
Yeah.
So explain to people the
So,
whole thing.
There's a mic inside each of my drums except my snare drum. It doesn't sound so good inside the drum. So I made my own mounts, and I soldered the wire in through the sound hole. The drum can still breathe.
The
It's-
little airport. Right?
Yep. And then I have Audix D2s in all my toms, including floor toms, Audix D6s in my kicks. For my snare, I use either an SM57 or an Audix D1, which is discontinued. You can actually call them up and still get it. They still have some of the capsules. But I'm debated. Sometimes I like the sound of the 57 better. A lot of times I'll put an I think it's a 604 Sennheiser on the bottom and reverse the phase. And then in all my toms, I reverse the phase when I wired it, so that it wouldn't contradict the overheads with phase cancellation.
See, this is
This
like,
is the nerd part.
This is but this is what matters if
It
you want
does.
to sound
Your
good.
toms
this
will
is where you
they'll
have
sound
to go
thin.
if you really want. Yeah.
Now, some of the shows I play, we're not using overheads, but when you're using overheads, having your toms, because the mics are pointing up at the head, you have to reverse the phase. Otherwise, with the overheads, they'll sound thin, depending on how loud because one's pushing, one's pulling.
Right, they cancel each other.
I mean, they're different mics, so they're picking up frequencies a little different, and there's time and distance and stuff. But it does make a difference, especially in the recording studio. But it does make a difference live as well. So all my toms are phase reversed. The kicks are normal. The overheads are normal, and it sounds great. My studio kit, I use D4s in all the toms. And what's funny is the D4s sound a little bit kind of close to like a Sennheiser MD421. Not exact, but similar.
I think I have an i5 for my guitar.
The D2s, at least for me, seem to work a little better live for whatever reason. I think they feel a little more scoop to me. Just from my ears and stuff, so they work well live.
I like the i5 on. I think it's the i5.
I don't
right?
own an i5. I've never used an i5 on snare. I've heard it on a snare.
No, but I think
I think it's a little
Jason,
more.
do me a favor. Just show me an Audix i5, please. AUDIX i5.
I think the i5 is a little more
think I
open
like it for
sounding than the
guitar cap.
57. The 57 is a little more compressed.
If I remember right.
Yep, there's
Yeah,
your
that is it.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one I got. Okay, thank you.
So I've got lots of Audix mics, but
So
I don't have the i5.
I like the Audix i5 on a guitar cab
Never used it on
better
guitar.
than a 57.
So when
Because it's got a little bit, if I remember right, the reason I chose it, because I found one, and I was like, I have one of these? And then immediately it was like all the memory, because again, I was drinking a lot back then. So it was like all the memories came back, and I was like, oh, that's right. I remember this. And like, so it picks up the lower end of the mid-range better, which makes a guitar just sound a little...
maybe I'll have to try one.
A little meatier, you know, like that little Elvis Presley, like fucking like a little meatier, you know, just a little
more,
just a little bit more than a 57 has.
because I'll use a lot of times I do a 57 with a 421.
If I remember right.
And now Sennheiser has the new micro 421. You know what the Sennheiser MD 421? It's those big, long, kind of rectangular looking mics you'll see in a lot of pro studios.
Yeah, I think I know what you're
Now they
talking
make
about.
a micro one that you can clip onto your toms.
Really?
Yeah, they're about $80 less. Been thinking about getting those, but my Audix mics sound great, so I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing better than Audix. If you're gonna, if any of the listeners are thinking about buying a drum mic pack, and you're looking at the Shure, the Sennheiser, all of them, I think the Audix is probably the best one.
So like on
That's my
with
personal opinion.
Cult of the Harbingers and Destroy the Planet, we used all my mics on my kit, plus we also put Sennheiser MD421s on the top and blended them to get really thick tom sound. I mean, I love how they sound. And then the kicks, we use the D6 and something similar to like a sub kick on the outside. Trying to remember, because Destroy the Planet drums were recorded at Terrarium, and then Cult of the Harbingers drums were recorded at Winterland Studios, and then White Crosses, not sure where it's going to be recorded, but lately I've been doing I'm recording like a lot of the guitars and bass, and if there's any keys I record that, and then we just save the drums and vocals for the studio. So
Are you
then
doing that at your place?
we'll do it at my place or at the rehearsal studio. We just isolate the cabs, put moving blankets around them and stuff like that. I usually like doing that. I'm pretty good at it. And then I like having another engineer record me, so all I have to worry about is playing my drums. I can record my own drums, but I'm my own worst critic, and so just having another engineer, I can just play through the songs and not worry so much about it. And then vocals, I don't have a $3,000 U87. I don't have a $10,000 vocal recording chain. So sometimes, depending on the studio, they just have a really nice vocal recording chain, and you just get a little bit of that extra magic. Although I have recorded good vocals at home as well.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people don't know you recorded my first
I did
2 things.
7 months of nothing and
when
Solace and Ashes.
When I was a little baby, a little baby boy.
I still remember going over to your studio. Didn't you have like a bunch of white sheets or something weird hanging? I
I
remember.
don't think you came to our studio.
Yeah, for Solace and Ashes.
I don't think so.
I yes, I did.
Did you?
I did.
I don't remember that.
Who was your drummer? I remember.
Pat?
Yeah.
Pat was a beast.
Yes.
Man, he became legit. He became super fucking legit, dude.
I was totally at your studio.
You remember that kid?
Well,
I do. Yeah, that's where you recorded his drums.
Yes.
No, we didn't have a bunch of white sheets.
I envisioned like a movie set of white sheets, maybe with like
no, there was
paint stains on
there
it
was
and crap, or
there was like carpets and drapes hung up on all the walls.
All right, so there was stuff hung
pieces
up.
of carpet hung up.
Maybe it wasn't white, but I remember
not
just
white,
stuff hanging and
just
trying to do some kind of soundproofing,
yeah, just
or
to make it
sound conditioning. And,
yeah, exactly. Just
All right, so my memory's not so bad.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I remember you recording Pat.
Yeah,
dude, but that and you were like, he's really good, or he's gonna be really good. I think you said he got really
he's gonna
good.
be
Something like that. He was fucking 17.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
young?
he was a child. Like, yeah, dude. And I wasn't much older than him. I was like 22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like fucking. I think Nick was 19.
Was he still in high school?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Dang. Yeah, because it was 7 months of nothing first, right?
Yep.
And then Solace and Ashes.
Yeah, and you did the live thing for 7 months of nothing.
Yeah, was that with?
And that helped us. That helped that.
Was that
band.
the show with Ginger Jake?
I don't fucking remember that part.
Hinge,
I don't remember that part. I don't remember. I just
because I
remember
think
it was
I had
good
all
enough.
my stuff set up. I'm like, hey, do you want me to record it? Because if that's true, because that
yeah, because you were already doing that for your own band.
Because I was doing it for Banehinge. I think I might have recorded you guys and Ginger Jake.
Yep, maybe I don't remember, but yeah, you gave us a sweet deal. It was like fucking like I don't know.
Yeah. Because that's when I was really starting to get into recording and stuff like that.
I think it was like $200.
I'd already done it for a while, but I hadn't done it for other people too much. So I was just like, just pay me for my time to mix it. And
dude, I think it was like $200.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Well, and back then in fucking 2004 money,
and I probably
or whatever
spent
it was,
at least a dozen hours on mixing it.
Right,
and
that's what I'm saying. So it was like you gave us a sweet deal, like $200. We got our whole set from the board, and yeah, you mixed it.
I was actually looking for it the other
yeah.
day. It's on some hard drive somewhere.
Please don't ever. No, if you find it,
I
please
wanted to
delete
bring it up
delete
tonight.
It. No,
oh, come on.
Delete it. I just remember me yelling.
Remember
baby.
you jumping around like a maniac on stage.
Oh, yeah. But I also remember me saying "baby" too much. That's the only thing I remember from that show. I kept saying, yeah, baby, in between like every saying. Oh, this fucking great crowd tonight, baby. Yeah, fucking baby. Like I was fucking 17 years old or 18 years old.
Word.
So, but it was good enough to where a few years later, when I was in this like super metal band, Solace and Ashes, compared to my first band, which was like a shitty new metal band. And I was like, no, we're going to go record with Al. Like Al recorded this live thing and he's good. We're going to go record with Al. I trust Al. And I brought Pat and the band to a couple shows, and Pat was like, yeah, I'll go record with Al. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, Al's legit. Okay, cool. We'll do that.
I got to see him first.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat ended up being super legit.
Where is he at now? Have you talked to him?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think because he was on the podcast a while back. He's sober now. Raises bees.
Raises bees.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think maybe also vegan.
Nice.
Married.
You want to... Oh, you just started one? I was going to say, do you want a Coors?
I'm going to stick with the Land Sharks.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember everything.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Dude, thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
Of course.
This has been a blast, dude. Yeah, but he went on to do shit. Like, he went on to play, and he went on the road and fucking... Very proud of that kid, man. He did some cool shit, dude.
So what are your favorite symbols?
Honestly, I'm not that guy.
No?
No, like we talked about earlier, just like I'm not a loyal fucking...
So I'm trying to circle back to the drums.
Okay, so I play Zildjian A custom cymbals because they sound good with my kit and the music I play.
Okay.
Right?
No special reason.
Zero fucking
You're
loyalty.
like, okay,
I tried them
that's-
all. I tried them all because I worked at Guitar Center.
Yep,
and
same
I was
here.
like, these are the ones that sound good. That's what I'm using. You know, if somebody comes, I think I played a Sabian China until I cracked it. You
Yeah.
know? Everything else is Zildjian A Customs because that's what I could afford.
I had
with
a
the employee
Sabian.
discount, and that's what sounded. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm very utility, not brand loyal in any way.
I had a
think that's
Sabian
silly. What about you?
metal crash years ago. So I was playing Zildjian at the time, and I had a Sabian metal crash, and it wouldn't break. I thought it sounded okay, but I think they didn't have the Zildjian cymbal I wanted, and the Sabian metal crash was on sale, and so I bought it. It just wouldn't break. I mean, and I normally broke cymbals every few months, and I'm like, dang, this cymbal is just built really well. So I started having problems with Zildjian cymbals with quality control. I would pick out an 18-inch rock crash and a Vitas one, and I break it, and then I buy another one. It would sound totally different. I get the same weight, same size, and then it would sound higher pitched than my 16-inch. I'm like, what is going on? And it would feel thinner, and it started driving me crazy. And sometimes the ones would crack right away, and others would last a few months. So I got fed up with it. I'm like, quality control is horrible with Zildjian right now. So I switched to Sabian because I had that great experience, but I didn't like the sound.
I think I know where you're going with this. Keep going.
I didn't get the metal crash. I got their natural series cymbals, which sounded pretty close to the Zildjian ones, and I felt like it was a little more consistent with the weights and stuff. So if I broke one, but I was never completely happy with the way the Sabian sounded. It was just like it was 90% of what I used to have. And Sabian's formula, I don't know if this is true. I think they might put a little more silver in it or whatever, but Sabian and Zildjian are kind of tied at the hip. Zildjian cymbals used to be made at the Meductic or whatever factory in Canada, and Bob Zildjian got in a fight with Armand or something like that. So fast forward, my brother-in-law, who's also a drummer, excellent drummer, it's kind of how I met my wife, played Paiste. And I always thought his cymbals sounded good, and then I kind of forgot about that. Then I'm in Virginia, and then there's another drummer who plays for One Slack Mind, and he played Paiste cymbals. And I'm like, what are you playing? Although he played Sabian hi-hats, so it's weird. But his crashes and everything, I mean, I love the sound of those. I'm like, what am I doing? So I sold off all my Sabians, or I played them until they broke, one or the other. And I bought a whole set of Paiste cymbals. It wasn't cheap, but what I did was I think
that's what Gensmer plays is Paiste.
No, he plays Sabian.
Does he?
Oh, hardcore Sabian.
Okay.
He loves Sabian. He makes those sound good. I'm just not a fan of them. So I had over 100 broken, mostly Zildjian cymbals. Just I'd save them because I always wanted to make a big like sword out of them or something, or a snare drum. I was gonna melt them down, maybe make a shield or something. And I collected these for years, and I found this guy on eBay who was selling modified cymbals. You take a broken cymbal, cut out things, and make these new cymbals.
I was thinking about doing something similar and cymbal repair.
Yeah, so I used to repair my own cymbals, drill holes out, and then it was just kind of beyond that.
You're talking like keyhole and like wedging.
Yep, and I would take a metal saw and cut out the crack, and I get a couple more months out of it.
I should talk to you about my China.
I was pretty good at it.
I temporarily repaired my China.
And it keeps cracking.
It's got a lathe mark crack.
Yeah.
And you
got cut it out.
It just went again. So it's.
So I found this guy on eBay who did that. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, I've got a proposition for you. I've got over 100 cymbals that I think are great candidates for what you're doing. And he just ran a business. He lived in somewhere outside of Chicago, I think. And I'm like, I'll make you a deal. And so he ended up paying me almost $2,000 for like 100 broken cymbals. But they were all, some of them were, just had to cut the rim out, or maybe you just had to make like an ozone kind of cymbal. Others you can make cool stuff. So, and I paid for, it was like $300 to ship. Guitar Center let me ship it as long as I paid for the actual shipping. So I shipped it to him. It was like $300 to ship. And then I think he gave me like so I think I netted about $1,700 or $1,750. And that's what I used to buy all my Peisty cymbals. And I've been playing them ever since.
And you love them because of like, is it so balance based on balance this based on what you said before? So is it the quality control of when you do replace one, it sounds like the one you replaced?
Yes.
Or is it just because they sound good with the music you happen to be playing?
It's both. So it took me a while to settle on what I have. And like I use a signature, I think it's a dry heavy ride. I've got a 21-inch and a 20-inch, and then I use heavy signature hats. I also have some 2002 hats.
Do you break a lot of cymbals?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, because those cymbals that you played on earlier tonight, those are 15 years old. I've never broken a single one of them.
Oh, really?
That's the other reason.
You might have a broken one now.
Oh man! Here's the it actually.
I know a place where I can get you a deal.
It does kind of scare me having so many drummers play on that kit now because I'm very generous.
I wasn't beating the crap
not
out
just
of them.
you.
So.
I'm not just talking to you. There's three. There's me and then the two guys.
I hold
who
back
play
a little bit when it's not my kit.
But like I watch certain guys' technique every once in a while on their own kits and shit, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you fucking. Because I learned how to not break cymbals. Working at Guitar Center, learning from Jake Muley and Joe Engel. These guys knew what they were fucking talking about. So whether it's swiping to the side and getting that cymbal to literally
if you watch
spin,
me play, I'm swiping.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's literally spinning, or you just strike off center. So when you hit it,
but you have to remember,
you're not pushing that fucking vibration all the way to the tip and then back again where it's right. So it's like, I feel like so many guys break a lot of cymbals just because they're not hitting it in the right spot or the right way.
Correct, but you also have to remember,
or they're brittle cymbals.
I'm putting on a show.
Sure.
People want to see you beat the shit out of your drums.
Yeah, but you can fake a lot of that, and I think you do that very well, and I think I do that very well, where it looks like I'm hitting the shit out of my cymbals.
Let's put it this way: the drum, the cymbals in my studio last a lot longer than my live cymbals. My live cymbals have about half the lifespan of my studio cymbals.
Dude, I haven't graduated to where I have 2 sets of cymbals yet, dude. I'm not legit yet. I got 1 set of cymbals.
I'm buying a new cymbal every few months.
I'm not legit then. I'm not legit then, dude. I'm not legit then, dude. That's it.
The more I'm playing out, the more I break.
That's it, dude. That's the verdict, dude. I'm still bullshit. I only have 1 set of cymbals, bro. That's it.
But I've talked to some death metal drummers who've never broken a cymbal, but they're like, they're barely tapping the cymbals, and
I feel like I hit my cymbals.
Yeah.
Jason, do you think I hit my cymbals?
Definitely hit your cymbals.
Do you really hit them though?
I feel like I hit.
Should we have a hitting contest?
I don't know.
On your cymbals?
How late is it?
Your cymbals or my cymbals?
What time is it? What time is it?
9:30.
All right, we should wrap this up.
We're at cut up. So we talked a little bit about drums.
What else do you want to talk about drums?
I don't know.
We don't have to wrap it up right this second.
Drums.
What else do you want to talk about, dude?
Configuration. What's your favorite configuration? If you're not worried about schlepping stuff around, what would you play? Earlier you said you don't like carrying a bunch of crap around.
Oh, if I had like a fuck you budget,
what would make you happy?
Like
playing?
I don't set up or tear down anything ever.
No, but being realistic, not a dream theater kit. Like it, just a regular day to day. If someone else was, helping you a little bit here and there, and you weren't worried about breaking your back.
Honestly,
like what
I would really, 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 really like not only another tom, whether it's another rack or another floor, not only would I like that, but what I really want is 2 things. If I'm getting really greedy, 3 things. I want a second snare, like a different sounding snare. I want another tom on the left over here.
Like what I do? Like a floor tom?
Do you have one on the left?
Yeah, I've got one on the left, one on the right, 2 in the middle.
And then I want another hi-hat, and I want to get greedy like Dan Copy, and I want to have it on a hydraulic.
I used to have 2 hi-hats and 2 rides.
So then I can, yeah, dude.
But what I did is that's when I had 4 toms on top. I had a ride here,
That already,
hat here,
that just
hat
sounds
here.
like such a pain. I need a rack, dude.
But so I played a show, and I had to play this other guy's drum set, and he set, it was a single bass kit, but he had it set up like a double bass so that the toms were offset right here, but the ride was right there, kind of like my kit is now, and the hat was right there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Instead of being way over here,
right.
now I was right here, and I could do like this crossover stuff and everything. I'm like, I loved it, but then I was like, I'm missing those toms. So it took me a few years to finally do the kit configuration I have right now. And my concession was,
You still rocking two true double bass or 2 bass drums?
yep, 2 separate kick pedals, 2
True double bass.
true double bass, yes,
True double.
the real thing. So I put a floor tom to my left, and now I can do all this cool stuff with my left with the tom over here, and I'm kind of ambidextrous when I
Kind
come.
of my fucking ass, you son of a bitch.
So I
You
can
fucking
I can-
humble son of a
I can-
bitch.
I can
Kind
do-
of
I can-
ambidextrous. Let's talk about this. you
I
son of a
can
bitch.
do stuff over here, and now my ride and hat are right here, so I can do some cool patterns. And so I took away my other ride, and I took away my other hi-hat. I kind of missed it at first, but it kind of opened up the door having stuff over here and stuff closer, so it was a compromise. But it's a lot more comfortable to play. I really enjoy playing the kit I have now. Once in a while, I miss that tom here or that extra crash, but I make up with it. Like I'll crash on the hi-hat and a splash, or I'll crash, to get a different tone, kind of blending the two sounds together.
Yeah.
And
Well, what I feel like I should do if I'm really going to try to be the best version of my own drummer that I can be is I feel like I should keep my kit exactly the way it is in rehearsal, minimal, force me to be as creative and as resourceful as possible. And then when I play live, throw in an extra tom. Just throw in an extra rack tom.
throw yourself off right in the
No,
moment.
there's just an extra rack tom there. It
just
doesn't.
never use it.
I mean, I can hit it as much as I want. It's just easy. There's just an extra drum there. There's just more options now. Because that's what drumming really is how many options do you have? How many directions can you go? My favorite description of music, and it doesn't matter if you're talking about guitar or drums or writing a song, music is the organization of sound and silence,
Yeah.
right? And
I've heard that before.
and that's exactly what drumming is to a T.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, hey, I'm going to hit something in this spot. Do I go tink and hit the fucking bell?
Or do I go boom?
Or do I go boom and hit the tom? Because my right hand's here. Right? Do I go dit or do I go dit? That's all it is. Like, it's here. What do I do with it? And then just being comfortable within that. And that's where, like, you guys, when you really get fat and happy, you motherfuckers are, it's everything's doubles and triples. And I'm going, and if normal people, when they want to try to sound like that, they're going, it's a different vibe. It's a totally different vibe. I'm somewhere in between. Like, I can throw some doubles in there and I can fake it and sound like I know what I'm doing. But, like, man, it's a different realm that some of you guys are on, man. And then for you to fucking be like, nope, I'm ambidextrous, or not saying you are,
I'm
but
not
you try
totally
to,
ambidextrous,
you try to
but
be, like,
I work
you
on
actually do
I work on my
the thing.
left more than I do my right, because naturally I feel right. So
I'm so lazy.
when I'm working on double bass and stuff, I do more with my left. I do, I'll try to burn my left wrist out. Just
Dude, when
not burn it out, but just exercise it
so
more.
when we played our first show at the Skyway, my fucking somehow, some way, my right kick pedal shifted.
It came to. I remember
shifted off my kick drum
Of course.
to where halfway through the song, my right kick pedal or kick beater, when I hit it, wasn't even hitting the drum anymore.
Oh.
So I literally had to figure out mid set and
Left
and
foot.
honestly, you were in the back of my head because I had conversations with you years earlier, and then you happened to be there that night, right?
And of course it happened.
So I'm trying to play everything on my left foot, like everything, every beat, even the double bass parts. You know what I mean? Because the right foot just doesn't exist. It's like,
gone.
what do you do? It's mid-set.
Hold on, guys.
Exactly. There's no way. Like, there's not even a pause in the song. If it's a different song, yeah, boom, I got.
It's always the one song that's the worst song for it to happen.
Right. It always happens like that, dude. We got lucky because apparently no one noticed. You notice. You're like, he's using his left foot.
You're kind of weird behind there right now.
He's like, you're using your left foot a lot.
Kudos to you. You're just
Fucking, I got lucky, dude. I faked it. It. Every time somebody's like, you're a pretty good drummer, I'm
just
like,
snare fill.
got him.
That was a pretty snare filly song. Floor tom snare.
Dude, every once in a while, what happens now is like I'll be throwing down. Everything's great, and then I'll go to like throw into a fill, and my left arm just stops working. Like, ugh. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like literally in between songs, I'm like, do I need to stretch? What's
Are you throwing your hand funny when you're hitting the snare?
Probably. I don't know. I'm probably stressing out. I'm probably overthinking it. I need to do some meditating. I don't know what it is. What do you do? Well, what would you advise somebody? Because obviously you've been in the game so long, you probably don't have those kind of blocks. But if somebody were having something like that, like...
Well, it depends if it's a physical block or a mental block. If it's a physical block, it means you need to warm up a little more before you play.
Sure.
At the bare minimum, I try to pound my feet into the ground a little bit. Preferably a practice pad or something for my just to get it out. Do some jumping jacks, some leg lifts, and stuff like that. Just get the blood pumping. The worst feeling ever is going on stage and you've got a fast, heavy song, and you go for it, and then about 2 minutes in, you're like, oh my God, everything's locked up, and you're just like, Billy clubbing your sticks, and your legs are going like this, and 2 minutes later you're fine, but you don't want that to happen. But if it's a mental block, you just got to take a deep breath and go, well, I can do this.
Right. Yeah, I think what happens to a lot, like me, what'll happen a lot, and I'm just spitballing here. I think some of it's fatigue. So I'll get into it a little too much, and then I start to get tired.
That happens.
And then I come up to a spot, and I kind of second guess what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could really go for it, but I'm a little tired. I should probably maybe simplify this and execute.
I was going to say,
split decision.
If you feel that happening, you got to simplify, but you got to commit to simplifying and not go, now I think I can do it all of a sudden. And it's okay. I mean, it happens sometimes.
Yeah, and then I think
instead
some
of going, you go to and people are like, okay, that's fine.
And I think some of it too is experimenting.
Or throw your kick. If your feet are feeling good, you do a kick fill instead of a tom fill.
Yeah. And then some of it's experimenting too, where I'm like, I'm playing. Normally, this is the fill that's supposed to go here.
All of a sudden.
But yeah, I'm like, but this is rehearsal. Let me fucking work on something. Let me see if I can do this here instead. And so, like, right as I'm about to go into it, I'll try to think about it, and I'll try to, like, and then I'll freeze up, and I'll just shit the bed.
Sometimes,
but that's what rehearsal's for,
Sometimes it just happens.
All the time. I mean, I humiliate myself so much, dude, in private, dude. Like,
well, you're not going to learn unless
I laugh at myself so much, dude. It's so funny. What else do you want to talk about, buddy?
I don't know. We talked about drums a little bit.
I mean, dude, we just scratched this. There's so much we could talk about
guitar.
too, but like,
I play guitar as well. I do a lot of writing.
What kind of guitar do you play?
My favorite.
Please tell me it's like Yaz flute style guitar.
No, dude. I've got a Kramer Focus 2000.
Is it metal? You play metal guitar?
It's my baby. It's got a Floyd Rose. It's like a Super Strat. It's got DiMarzio pickups in it. And then I also have a U.S. Masters guitar that's got my name in the headstock that was custom made for me.
Where the fuck does this come from?
It was made in Middleton, Wisconsin.
Really?
From the Regenberg brothers. Used to have Regenberg Music. It's the first music shop I ever.
Did you pay for this?
Oh
You-
yeah,
you're
I mean,
like,
but they gave me a killer deal on it.
Right,
Because
but
I
you're like,
shopped
I'm
there
gonna
ever since I
fucking-
was a kid.
But you're like, I'm gonna fucking.
Yep.
I want my own guitar.
Yep. It's all to my specs. It's got a flame maple top.
That's
it's
sick as fuck, dude.
It's a trans brown, so you can, it's all brown, and you can see through it. It's got a bird's eye maple neck. It's got Alnico V custom Regenberg pickups in it. A ebony fretboard. It's a badass guitar.
What do you,
It's
let
got
me
a
ask you
Floyd
this: since
Rose-
you're a guitar
Floyd
guy,
Rose.
what do you think of guitars with kill switches in them?
I don't know. Sometimes they're fun, I guess.
That one at Guitar Center, that white one. That,
I mean, they're just trying to do
guitar.
the Randy Rhoads thing, but do it even faster. I don't know.
It feels a little gimmicky to me, but at the same time, it's like that's kind of the point, right?
And then Mesa is probably. I've got a Triaxis. That's my go-to amp.
The Mesa
Triaxis. Yeah, it's a MIDI controlled, all analog amplifier. It's got basically like 4 or 5 different analog amps built in. There's 11 tubes in just this Triaxis, and then I've got a 100.
Jason, will you pull this up so I can get a look at it as he's describing?
And then
it?
I've got the Simulclass 290 power amp. So it's
The Triaxis. Mesa.
TRI, then Axis.
Mesa, which is MESA.
And then
Triaxis.
180 watts of tube power amp. So there's 8 tubes in that.
Interesting.
So it's like I think it's 19 tubes generating my tone.
That's a lot of tubes, bro.
I don't know if all of the tubes are on, depending on what
What
channel.
does that cost if you want to replace all those?
I hate retubing it. It's super expensive.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Now that's tubes,
No,
though?
like that used one on Reverb, that's a Triaxis right there. That's what I have for my.
No, not that one.
No, that one. Yep.
Yeah. That's tubed, huh?
That's all tube.
Click on that, Jason.
And that's just a preamp. It's a badass preamp. It's got like the Mark II-C. It's got
And
all
that's
the.
tubed.
It's all tube. They don't make it anymore. It's discontinued.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah. And mine is number I think 47. It's like the 47th
Get
one
the
ever
fuck
made.
out of here, dude. That's crazy.
And then the power amp.
And then you hook that
And
up
then
to
you
a
hook it
power
up to 180 watts of tube power. It will raise the hairs on your skin.
That's
It's insane. It's like you go chun chun.
so total wattage. How do you measure that? What's the total wattage?
So it's,
like
it's 290 watt power amps. There's 8 power tubes in the back
Right.
of that thing.
right?
And so I've got the Mesa cab. I think it's a 280 watt rectifier cab.
Okay.
And so there's side A and side B that it powers, so 180 watts. So 90 watts to one half of the cab, 90 watts to the other half.
So it's 180 total.
180 watts of tube power, which is way
100
louder than like solid state.
That's 180 watts of twisted American steel.
Yeah.
That's what that
So every
is,
once in a
buddy.
while, I'll put in earplugs and just crank
That's
it, see what
that
she can
is,
do.
buddy.
Yeah.
That's 180 watts of American twisted steel right up your fucking ass there, you British motherfuckers. You Canadian bitch. What do you think of the tariffs?
I don't know. I think if the other countries are tariffing us, I mean, we have the right to tariff them.
Yeah.
You know?
What really like fucking kind of blows my mind is how other countries are tariffing Canada because Canada outrageously tariffs them.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
China.
so if Canada's been
like Canada
tariffing us
acts
for
like this
stuff, I mean, why is it not okay for us to tariff them?
Right. I mean, that's
Same. I mean, I
it's so
think
obvious.
fair is fair, right?
Well, and it's crazy because like we're just doing like a 25%. Like there's certain things that Canada tariffs us on like 290%.
Yeah, I mean, and then tariffing China. I mean, the stuff that a lot of the stuff that comes from there is so cheap anyway. A 25% tariff on 10 cents is, now it's
Right.
I mean,
Literally.
okay. That might upset some people, but the bottom line is that if we are getting tariffed, why can't we tariff them? That's the bottom line.
And I explained this on one of the little solo things I did, which is they go, that's just going to raise the costs to American consumers. And I go, yeah, that's literally the point. The point is
we want production in America.
The imported goods are now at a reasonably comparable price to an American-made good, which the American worker makes more money. And the American worker who now has a more sustainable job spends more money, which makes the economy more flourish. So when those two things are very comparable, any American is probably going to buy the American thing.
Yeah.
The only reason we buy the Chinese thing is because it's so much cheaper. It's too hard to resist.
I mean, I don't have any problem.
They do the same thing over there.
I don't have any problem buying, stuff from other countries. I mean, totally fine with it. But when it comes down to, they're getting special concessions to make stuff cheaper and we're screwing ourselves, we can't do that.
I have a hard time buying anything from China just based on the simple fact that it's slave labor.
Well,
It's
there's that.
exploitation.
So, I mean, if I have the ability to buy something American, I usually pick the American product, even if it's more expensive.
And yes, I have an iPhone, but
Well,
I have deep conflict with that because it's almost
well,
impossible
what
for
phone
me to.
are you going to buy here?
Right,
That's
that's
made here. So
That's exactly
at least
what I was gonna say.
you have American engineers,
Right.
that's
exactly
designed
what I was
it.
going to say. That's exactly what the end of that was going to be is like.
Or if you're buying a Samsung, that's all made overseas.
Right.
I mean, I guess they have some offices here now, so someone's probably going to chime in and go, "You're wrong."
I just think it's just. I think you kind of nailed it. If they're going to tariff us, because the only reason we even have tariffs is to just keep, and this is what their rationale is, right? Like, you go, well, why are you tariffing American eggs at 290%? And they're like, well, it's to protect Canadian farmers. And then they go, okay, so if America puts a 25% tariff on eggs, what's so bad about that? And they
It's
go, well,
it's
it hurts
hypocritical.
everybody, and it actually hurts Americans more.
But they forget
It's
about,
like,
well,
that doesn't make any
they were
sense.
tariffing to protect their people, and then we tariff,
Yeah.
and then it hurts
Which
everybody.
is stupid. Which is stupid. But if you're paying your people an irrational wage, then I get it, right? So like we pay our people irrational wages compared to China, right?
Yeah,
So
we now pay 16-year-olds $15 an hour at Starbucks.
dude, did you hear Costco is paying people $30 an hour? Hey, I'm not fucking.
How?
Jason, pull this up.
How?
Thank you.
Is-
That's the
is-
first question I had.
Is Costco going to be Costco anymore? I mean, are they going to offer low prices anymore, or is it all going to be a facade then?
Or are they doing such volume that they can afford that?
But their margins are already so thin. Or were they?
I don't know. Costco is raising hourly pay for most
scale.
of its
It's
store
top
workers.
scale. The bottom. So starting there, it's $20 per hour.
Bottom of the
Jeez.
scale earning $20 an hour.
So basically, prices are going up.
Yep.
We,
Yep.
we,
and,
we,
and dude, meat is
we can't sustain these wages without inflation.
Dude, and beef is so expensive already. Like, if you want to buy a fucking steak, like a nice prime fucking ribeye steak, I know you're. I know
tofu steak?
you of all people are really
Nice
resonating
cut
with
of
this,
tofu.
Al. Let me tell you about a ribeye steak right now, buddy. It's $22 a pound. Even
Holy cow.
Even at Sam's Club or Costco.
Okay, so you know what drives
If you want to
me
buy like a really nice prime
You know what
ribeye
drives me
steak,
mad?
$22 a pound.
is you go somewhere.
That's gonna go up.
You go somewhere and the meat dish is cheaper than the vegan dish.
It should be.
What? No.
the amount of things that have to happen to make a vegan dish versus like I just kill a cow, cut it.
I'm talking
grill it.
restaurants that regularly serve a vegan, like a Beyond Burger. They'll say it's $3 extra for the patty. Like there's a few
Wait,
restaurants.
what?
Yeah. They'll charge $3 extra for the patty versus you could get, this bison burger or whatever, and burger prices are ridiculous. So it'd be like $15 for this bison burger. But if you want the Beyond Burger, it's $18. I'm like, isn't that bison burger just as much or more than the cost of a Beyond Burger? So
well, bison maybe no. Maybe bison is fucking $1.99 a pound because like pork, dude, when I go look at pork is so affordable right now, and different types of chicken. If you go buy chicken thighs or you go buy whole ass chicken legs, you remember when we were kids? You remember how like KFC the chicken leg was the thing? Right?
Yeah.
That was like the sought after piece of meat was the chicken leg. Rah!
now
right?
it's the breast.
No, now it's buffalo wings.
Oh.
Now it's the tiny little. Fucking and the breasts.
Yeah.
So chicken thighs and chicken legs, dirt fucking cheap. $1 a pound, $1.99
wow.
a pound. Literally, like crazy cheap. Pork, very affordable. But beef, chicken breast, chicken wings, most lamb. Lamb is very expensive. Like it's the cuts of meat. It's the types, right? So you can go get a pork belly.
So didn't we start off talking about vegan stuff and now we're kind of ending with it?
I mean,
we're talking about meat and hunting.
well, because you were talking about the Beyond Burger is more expensive, and I was like, well, it depends because bison might be cheap.
Well, I'm
bison
just saying
might be
whatever-
fucking dirt cheap, but yeah, if it's a fucking beef burger,
But in general, you're paying $15 for a burger. That Beyond Burger, you can get a 10-pack at Costco for $10.99.
$15 for
Where
burgers.
the cost of the meat, whatever meat they're using for the burger, is probably $1, $1.50. That Beyond Burger is the same. It's $1 or $1.50 per patty.
Yeah, I wonder.
And so they're just charging extra because it's vegan.
That's what I'm curious about. Like,
You know
what
what I
does
mean?
it cost? What is
doesn't
the cost
cost
of
that much
production?
extra.
What is
it
the?
doesn't.
Let's see if we can figure this out before we wrap this up. Can we figure out, Jason? Can we look this up? I mean, I don't even know if this is possible. What is the cost of production of Beyond Meat per pound? Like, how do they even, you know what I mean? Like, how do they, because a cow is a cow. Like, you break it down. It costs me this much to feed it, right? It costs me this much to shelter it. It costs me this much to medicate it and keep it healthy. Now I had to butcher it. I had to pay this guy to butcher it. I had to pay this. You add all that up. You add on a percentage to make your profit. That's how much it fucking costs.
Here we go. Beyond Meat's cost per
$3.50 per pound.
Okay.
So that's comparable to pork right now.
Exactly, which is cheaper than beef. And
Well, what is bison per pound? Because that was the hypothetical you brought up. Like
I said bison because I thought it was more expensive.
right,
So,
but here's what I'm saying. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But that's what I'm saying.
But there's
So-
many restaurants.
But let's just
we've
hypothetically
gone
say
to,
it was bison.
and they're like,
Let's say it was bison though, because my point is if it was pork, then it's comparable.
$10 to $25
There you
per
go.
pound.
There you go.
Ground bison is typically lower.
So that's
but
bring that back up. So that's literally see down there ribeye 17 to 25 per pound. So it's right there. So yeah, in that case, if it was in that
But see
hypothetical,
what I mean? Even you
if
go-
it was bison is way more expensive than Beyond Meat.
Okay, now look up just regular ground beef.
So what they're doing is they're exploiting.
Yes,
They're
that's what I was getting
exploiting the
at. It drives me
vegans. Yeah,
nuts.
yeah,
I'm
that-
like,
that's
I
exploitation.
know that this doesn't cost you extra.
No, it's way cheaper, dude. It's way if it was bison meat, right? Like if it was pork, then it's comparable, right? But they also might not get a good deal through their distributor, right? 'Cause
True,
They might
and
not buy enough volume.
Maybe
like,
they have to throw it out every so often because they don't go through as much. But
does it spoil? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it should be cheaper that way too.
Wait, 3 to 18. That. Oh, look, it is.
Well, this is AI. We got to be careful with this shit. The price of 1 pound of ground beef can vary.
$5.98. So that's more
Yeah.
expensive
Well,
than
yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying. Regular beef.
And then they
Regular beef would be more expensive right now because
so it's pretty common
now
to see it.
pork you can get like about the same price, $350 to $450, depending on where you're at in the country. But yeah. That shit's super interesting, man, because it, like I said, it comes down to how much does it cost to feed, like what is the cost of grain? Well, what makes grain cost money? What is the cost of oil? What is the cost of fucking farmer
it's
labor?
just the exploitation
the
of
fucking chain reaction.
people
of that.
on a special diet. They just exploit it.
And then you get certain fucking governments that come in there like, boom, 25% tax. Like we do that on our own people.
Yeah.
Like we legalize weed in Colorado, 100% tax.
100%.
Yeah, fucking. You want to?
What do you want to tax? 100.
You want to sell?
It's a made up number. They're like not. It's not like some analysis where like it's 92.4% is what we should tax because that's gonna. No, it's just 100. You know
what you sell it for, we also get that. If you sell anything vape related in the state of Minnesota, 100%.
It's a made up number. They're just
100% tax.
What do you think it should be?
So
just double it.
You see those guys with the vapes that look like this, and they're going super annoying guys.
Yes.
Okay, it's like a $40 vape, right?
Yeah.
If you try to go buy it at the fucking
$80.
it's $80, and they're like, dude, it's $40.
That's
on
like
Amazon,
that's like
but
auto mechanics.
Minnesota.
You know, auto mechanics just take. If you're buying $100 brake pads, it's $200.
Yeah, because that's the only way they make their money.
They literally just double it. I try to repair my vehicles when I can. Sometimes you have to bring it in. I'm like, how is this? Well, and then you look it up, and we just double it. And a couple of them are honest. Yeah, it's just double what we pay.
Because that's their actual profit. Because I worked at an auto shop for a while, and basically what happens is the fucking labor to actually pay the actual mechanic, because you have to factor in the electricity.
But labor charges are like $140 or so an hour.
Right, but that's not what the mechanic gets.
I know that.
That's what that's what the shop has to
the shop
charge
overhead
to pay for all the bullshit and pay the mechanic plus the insurance plus the bullshit.
Because the average mechanic is probably making what, $35 to $60 an hour if they're lucky.
Depending on the level, it literally goes up to A level. Like an A level mechanic is a guy who's got 25, 30 years experience. And he makes whatever the top industry is. But my point is that shop labor, zero profit. That's literal dead cost.
Yeah.
So 100% of the shop's total profit is parts markup. So they're doubling it, and that seems fucked up.
There's one mechanic.
But that's the only way they make money. So if you think about it, this sounds fucked up, but you pay for an $800 brake job.
Yeah.
It takes 7 hours to actually do because your shit is old and rusty and you haven't done it in a while. And your
that's a
brakes,
horrible bill. 7 hours.
This is old school numbers when shop labor was $100 an hour, right? So it's 7 hours to do it, and then so you have a $700 bill just from shop labor. There's no profit in that, and then your brakes
because
you're
paying your dude, and then you're paying for utilities
all the bullshit,
and
And then we got to warranty it just in case, right? So you got to build that in because every once in a while something happens. Mm-hmm. Faulty brake pad or
you got to come in and spend another 7 hours.
Forgot to insult right? And then the pads cost $150. So we have to charge you $300. Well, the point is the total job that we only made $150. So it seems crazy to you doubled the brake pads. But it's like that's all we made, dude. But
it kind of drives you crazy though. But
it totally does. Yeah. It totally fucking does. But if you have the time, do it.
This one mechanic I go to,
but
he's
that's how it boils down to.
If you buy the parts, I'll put it on, and you just pay for labor. So there's some mechanics that will do that. Yeah,
those are smaller shops.
Yeah, this is a smaller 2-3.
That's a little different vibe. Yeah. I'm talking like normal.
big shops.
Yeah, yeah. Like you go to an Honest One Auto Care. Like when they give you those numbers, dude. Like,
No, I mean, I go to mechanic. I know I'm paying double for
dude,
the
and
parts.
we would lose so much money so often. Like they always lose money on oil changes.
Oh, I know that. That's just to get you in the door, so that's your preferred place to go.
Yep. And then when you need brakes, fine, we'll do it there.
Actually, lately I've been. I used to do all my oil changes, but lately,
And actually, the brake job, by the way, I got to be honest, the brake job thing was a metaphor.
yeah,
They actually make a lot of money on brakes.
because they're quick and easy once you're good at it.
Right. Like the brake thing was a
Yeah.
horrible metaphor. They actually make a fuck ton of money on brake jobs.
Because
Like,
a good guy on brakes can, get it done
bang
in
them that
20,
shit out,
30
yeah.
minutes.
Exactly. But they're going to charge you
Now,
for...
once a bolt seizes or something, then they're like,
Right. But they're going to charge you for... It's going to be an $800 brake job. Like, that's just how it's going to work. And then, yeah, like you just said, it takes them 45 minutes. But the analogy still tracks because that's...
yeah.
Kind of how, because dude, we lost a lot of money on a lot of jobs over and over again. Because that's just how it works, man. You get the little quote out of the fucking machine that says, "This." I think it's called All Data, if I remember right.
This should take 3.5 hours, or this should take.
Well, that was with a brand new vehicle with all the exact perfect tools, with no rust, all laid out, ready to
But
go.
sometimes
and guy
I've
hit
been
start.
told it's going to take 8 hours, and then 3 hours later they call you up. It's done. Like,
Yep.
Wait a
That's
minute.
an A-level mechanic that got that
It's
job.
like, wait.
Yep.
Usually I'll go back and they cut you a little bit of a deal. They're like, yeah, it was actually pretty easy.
Yeah, that's an A-level mechanic that got in there, knew exactly.
If
And he
they're,
goes,
if
no,
they're
no,
smart,
I've seen this.
they wait until the next day and then call you. But
But that's a thing too. We did that. We would call people and be like, "Hey, this is not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Here's the deal." Because if I got it to the right mechanic, they would
then
go,
they're going to
they
come
would go,
back
"No, no, no,
because
no."
you were honest with
They'd
them.
go, "What year is this?" Hold on, give me the Traveler. They'd look at it and they'd go, "No, no, 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 no. I know what this is."
They're like, I've done this a million times. It's
Yep.
easy. Yeah.
Literally, because there's patterns, just like, and I'm sure you know this.
Yeah.
Like with the aerospace shit, like there's in engineering, there's these like truncated designs. This is how this engine fails. This is how
you
this
get a good,
heating
you get a guy,
system
good guy.
fails.
They know exactly where to go in and exactly
Right.
what to do, and they're going to be fast at it.
Oh, Chevy, GMC calls in, heating failed. Yeah, we already know. Pre-order the wire harness. It overheated
Everything's
and
already
melted the wire
yeah.
harness. Like we already know.
Yeah.
Because there's just this simple pattern of like simple diagnosis.
Failures that
Yeah.
happen all the time. Yep.
Oh, these guys have this problem. This guy. So we, Jared, what's the best? You used to be a mechanic. Well, I wasn't. I was an assistant
you're around
manager
it.
at a auto shop. What's the best car? There is no best car. What are you looking to not have problems with? Like, what is your major concern? Like, you want something? Get a Toyota. That's my answer. Buy a Toyota. That's the simplest one. Do
Yeah.
the oil changes. Do your brakes. Do the routine maintenance. A Toyota is the most reliable thing out there. Those motherfuckers know how to build a car. If you want something fancy, buy a Lexus,
Yeah.
which is a fancy Toyota.
Oh, you should probably wrap this puppy up, huh?
Let's get out of here. Where can people check you out? White Crosses, Destroy the Planet.
Yeah, White Crosses Destroy the Planet and Cult of the Harbingers.
Link.
Oh,
for-
yeah, so,
those are in the description, but
Hold on. So White Crosses has a show coming up. Let me.
we should play it. One of your tunes getting out of here.
Yeah, well, I'll send the.
Jason, did you get that queued up?
No, I didn't get a chance to send it.
You son of a bitch.
Dang it! I'll try to do it right now.
Do it now.
Do it now. Oh, it didn't remember. All right.
Well, while you're getting that queued up.
Uncomfortable silence here.
While you're getting that queued up, I had a great time with you, buddy. This was a very great privilege for me to have you on, man. We slammed a bunch of beers. I feel like I'm just now getting a decent little buzz going. That's the problem with these. What is that, dude?
Oh, it wants me to take a survey.
That's the problem with these fucking light beers, dude. You can just drink them, drink them, drink them, drink them, drink them. Nothing happens, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm finally fucking buzzed. If I drink 3 more, I'm gonna be shit-faced.
All right, I just sent it to you,
To me?
to Jared Singer.
Okay. All right, you got it up there, Jason?
Yeah. So this is our video.
Then
This
make
is
sure you're on main.
So I'm gonna give you 2 things that's coming up. So this is Destroy the Planet.
Bring it over here, Jason.
Our video Crawl.
What is this? This is the link you sent.
What? Create a room?
No, that's what
that's-
I sent. Get rid of that, Jason. That's not what he sent.
So it's a video called Crawl. It features my niece, who's the actress in here. It's about kind of like a phobia of bugs. So it's called Crawl. It's one of our hit songs, and we usually end the night with this song. It's been received pretty well. It's gotten good reviews. So we are playing March 29th, Saturday night in Gibbon, Minnesota at Whitworth Brewing. Attached to Whitworth Brewing it's called The Bank. So that's my niece Natalie. She had just turned 18 here, and she was legal to do the video. So she's an awesome actress. She's actually a really, really good singer as well. So she did a bang-up job in this, and so you'll see some of her acting, and then you also see us playing in this video. But after that, then in White Crosses, I'm playing a show. Let me bring it up here. On May 10th at a place called the Haunted House. Trying to get a little more info, but it's a place called the Haunted House on 510. It's in the Twin Cities area. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll find a little bit more information about it. I'll forward that to Jared too, so you can also send him a message and he'll know what's going on. But
Perfect.
thank you guys for listening. I know it's been a long night. I appreciate Jared for having me on. This has been a pleasure. It's been way too long, but we'll do
It's
this
been
soon
awesome,
again.
dude. I love you, man.
All right.
I love you, buddy. Jason, when you play this, make it go full screen.
I did.
Well, I'm watching the YouTube. Hit play, and then mute my mic. It's gonna be. First hit. This is fucking
Opera flute.
Look around and your bridges burn. You got what you deserve. Tell me more about the lessons you learned. You got what you deserve. 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 What you feel them crawl.